This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Mickey, fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out and go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
I like him. Who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
All right, and welcome once again to another edition of the Voices of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I am Rich Craich, alongside, as always, the King of Banter, a very good family man, Mr. Joe Lanza. And Joe, we can't really waste time on this week's show. There's just a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. But you know, at the top of the show, there's no doubt what we have to start the show with. I mean, it is something that is paramount to you and I. It's paramount to our families. It's something that's just kind of over. You know, it's for the national. It's national health. It's all this sort of stuff. But you are going to, on the air, cook a big and bold Buffalo style chicken hot pocket. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It is the clearly the big story of the week.
It's what the people want to hear about. It's what the people have been clamoring to hear about. It has wide ranging effects as well. Like you know what can happen if you give this big and bold Buffalo style chicken hot pocket a good review. I mean, that Nestle stock, you know, stocks are not doing well right now, but that Nestle stock could rise up pretty quickly. So
this is true, and our Twitter followers saw that I made this purchase last weekend. And this is clearly the lead topic. There's no other big story going on that could possibly usurp the taste test of the big and bold Buffalo-style chicken Hot Pocket. Rich, it is touted on the box as 50% larger.
I'm looking at the box right now. I'm looking at a picture of the box, I should say. I am not lucky enough to have this. I'm most intrigued by the 18 grams of protein that are contained within this Buffalo blasted crust.
Yeah. So we got the 18 gram. We got the 50% larger. We've got the Buffalo blasted crust that needs to be discussed. Right. And listen to this, Rich. I am going to cook the Hot Pocket on the air. Number one, I'm going to follow the strict instructions on the box. I firmly believe if you're doing a taste test, you got to follow the instructions on the box.
So this is okay. So not to interrupt you, but this is big news then. So the sleeve is coming out.
As you know,
and you're very anti-sleeve. You're very anti-sleeve. So I just need to clarify that the sleeve is coming out.
I am anti-crisping sleeve, but for the purposes of the taste test, I will follow the instructions on the box to give a fair and balanced taste test. So the crisping sleeve will be used. Now, interesting. I didn't know if it would come with a crisping sleeve. We're in new territory here. This is the big and bold.
Right. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows what was awaiting you?
So it has a crisping sleeve, but listen to this, Rich. You're gonna love this. Okay. Following the instructions here. Cooking time for one sandwich, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Holy shit! Wow.
50% bigger. 50% more cook time.
So now do you – I forget if we have touched on this before with non-big and bold Hot Pockets, but do you usually do the exact time that it says, or do you kind of fiddle with the time as well? Because
I am going to follow the exact specification.
Well, I meant prior to this. Like, does your microwave usually follow the – like, because my microwave, I kind of have to add 30 seconds to everything to get it. Because, like, you know, everything I would follow to a T, you know, 2 minutes, whatever, and it just wouldn't – you know, it wasn't there. And I discovered an extra 30 seconds always kind of put it together. So is that normally what you do? Or are you going to say this box told me 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's what it's getting?
I see where you're going with this. I have a pretty standard microwave that jives with the time.
Okay,
so
all right. And sometimes people aren't that lucky. I am not that lucky right now. So it sucks because you're ready to put the popcorn in. You go 2 minutes and you unwrap you take the bag out and there's fucking half kernels. You're like, God damn it!
Listen, here's more big news.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So for the taste test, I'm doing the one sandwich.
Okay. So you're not doing the 2 sandwiches, right?
Nah, it's unnecessary.
That's a lot. I don't need to hear you chewing another 2 Hot Pockets at once, and your stomach will hurt. And yeah, that's.
But check this out. It says 2 sandwiches.
Okay.
For best results cook one at a time.
Wow. So it can't, like, it is
How
telling
about
you that
that?
your puny ass microwave cannot handle the big and bold, is what it's saying.
You cannot handle the big and bold.
Right.
One at a time. They don't even give you a suggested cooking time for two of these things.
Unbelievable.
And I got to tell you, the box is a little bigger. It doesn't fit neatly in my freezer with the rest of my Hot Pockets.
It's bold. It's got a bold fit.
A bold fit. I took it out of the box. It's big, it's thick, it's meaty.
So I'm looking at the box here, and I have to ask you: is it shaped differently than, like, because it looks taller than most Hot Pocket boxes? Is that true or not?
It is. It is a bigger, thicker box as well.
Interesting.
Because you cannot contain the big and bold, and I'm telling you, this thing would not fit in the standard Hot Pocket box. It would protrude. It's big. It's bold. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to cook it live on the air. I'm going to take off my headset here, but I'm going to keep talking. So you got to. Okay. All right, here we go.
You're ready. All right. Joe is leaving. He's going to the microwave. So
I'm off to the microwave.
There it is. You can still hear him here. So this is going to be 3 minutes and 30 seconds of thrilling radio, and I can't wait for it.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Let's go. Do you want me to count down every second, or
no, I got it. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. So we've started the timer. We got now we sit. See, I didn't think this bit through because now we just have to sit.
Yeah, that's what I said. Unfortunately, we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, I'm looking at the box here, so I can talk a little bit about the box again. So,
yeah,
big and bold. Bold is in bold lettering with
that's right.
A very, like, a kind of a rugged drop shadow too. It's kind of an orangey drop shadow with a little bit of grunge on it too, to literally let you know this is bold. This is really standing out. As we mentioned, 18 grams of protein per sandwich, and you're eating just one sandwich. That's a lot of protein in a Hot Pocket. So we have buffalo style chicken here with spicy buffalo sauce and reduced fat cheddar cheese and now this is in a completely different font and a completely different color, buffalo blasted crust. And Joe, I need to know about the buffalo blasted crust. I need to know.
I'm gonna focus hard on that because that's featured prominently on the box here.
Unfortunately, I'm looking down at the bottom of the nutritional facts here. Am I correct in that it's 1,170 grams of sodium that you're going to be consuming here?
That's correct.
Oh boy,
it's a lot of salt. Yeah.
But 18 grams of protein, though. You can't mess with that. So.
18 grams of protein.
Because I'm sure you had a big workout today, so you need to rebuild those muscles. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know you could cook these things in the oven? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I have done that before because I'm not a big microwave guy. We've probably have touched on this before. I just don't like using the microwave. I feel like it doesn't cook all that. Like some foods, like microwave popcorn, you put it in the microwave. If you're in a pinch, you throw it in the microwave. But if I can, I try to put most everything in the oven because really, like 325 for 5 minutes or whatever, like leftover pizza. The idea that people put leftover pizza in a microwave just horrifies me because like the oven, just put it in there for 5 minutes. It gets back to crispy. It's back to kind of where it originally was. It's just so much better. And then I see people slumming it up and putting stuff in microwaves all the time. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, at 400 degrees, it takes 35 minutes.
Well, that's okay. So this is unfortunately the problem. Is I did it once, and Joe, I will tell you that it was not much different than the microwave. And that's when I decided is because there's nothing like waiting 30 minutes for a freaking Hot Pocket,
I'm not waiting 35 minutes for a Hot Pocket.
Because you think, oh, well, I did it in the oven. It's going to be different. It's going to be a different experience. It literally tasted exactly the same with no different crispiness. Nothing was different. And I went, that was a waste of 35 minutes to eat a Hot Pocket. So
it says 1 portion equals 1 sandwich. Enjoy with a side salad or fresh fruit.
So what is in your side salad, Joe, that I'm assuming you're eating as well during this?
I had a salad before we went on the air, so I'm going to count that. So
what's in a Joe Lanza salad?
Well, I had my lettuce mix.
Okay, well, I assumed lettuce is in it, so thank you. But
I had my well, listen, you asked. I'm
That's
answering.
True. You're right. It could have been spinach. It could have been kale. It could have been spring mix. That's right.
Yeah, this was a lettuce mix. Exactly. The wise guy over here. So I had my lettuce mix. I had imitation crab meat.
Oh, Joe.
Oh, I love the imitation crab meat. I gotta have.
Come on, really?
It's tremendous stuff. If you don't eat that,
I've had it. I don't love it.
It's like eating water, though. Like you could fill up on it and it has no calories.
Right.
It's 0 calories, 0 fat. So you can pound a whole pack of that thing while you're watching a game and fill up, and it's like eating nothing. It's tremendous. Oh, okay. The microwave went off.
Oh, I heard
a ding.
I heard a ding. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the nurse.
So now we got it.
All right.
We got to have the 2-minute sit time now. So
2-minute sit time. So is that standard among Hot Pockets?
That's all Hot Pockets.
Okay.
Yeah. So We have the 2 minutes. I got my timer going now.
Well, plenty of time for you to chop up your cantaloupe for your to have with your hot pocket. So
correct. So we got the 2-minute sit time. It says, let's sit 2 minutes to complete cooking and enjoy. Okay, so big question. Prediction time. Blowout or no blowout?
Blowout.
Yeah, I'm gonna say blowout. Number 2.
Because it's if the big and bold is what I think it is, it's probably jam packed with goodness. So it feels like a contender to blow out for sure.
Probably an enormous blowout. Okay, so as we all know, as veterans of the Voice of Wrestling podcast, know there are only really 3 flavors of Hot Pocket: red, white, and yellow. Is this going to? Now this is buffalo style chicken. So are we going to be? Is this the great unknown? Is this a new flavor? Or is this going to be yellow? Is this going to be white? I don't think it would taste like red.
I don't think it's red either. I'm guessing that it's going to taste exactly like yellow, the ham and cheese or whatever other amalgamations of yellow-based hot pot. I feel like it's going to taste a lot like that.
Okay, so we're going blowout, and you're going yellow flavor.
The buffalo sauce is tricky though, man. That could bring it into the red a little bit.
I think we're entering the great unknown. I think we're adding a 4th flavor. I think we're going to do it. As we try to kill off another minute.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm there was no other way we could start this show.
All right, let me go grab it. Okay, I'm going to take the headset off. All right.
All right, what do you think? I got to imagine there's a blowout here, but we're going to find out. This could be the big upset. There's no NCAA tournament, so we got to bet on this sort of stuff and get excited about it. Let's see. Oh. Joe got lost on the way to the... Oh, no. He's getting a different plate. We could hear him before, but now we can't hear him, so I don't know what happened. I'm kind of nervous. It's possible that he's trying to eat it while not being on his headset, but, you know. He's really let us wait here. There had to be an issue. This thing blew up.
Oh, I muted you.
Oh my God! I was like, "What happened? You burned the roof of your mouth, and you're at getting TLB to take you to the ER." Okay, so what do we? Before anything, blowout or no blowout?
Okay, so the mute button's in a weird spot on this headset, so I accidentally mute. But okay, all right. So here we go. I have the Hot Pocket. I've retrieved it.
Okay, because I was wondering if you're going to eat off the air, and I said that would just be really against everything that we believe in. So I hope you're chewing while you're on the air here.
No. I'm going to taste test it on the air.
Okay.
I wanted to get a napkin, but then we were out of paper towels. I had to go into the pantry, get a new roll of paper towels. It was a disaster.
Careful with those. Those are hard to find these days. So.
Ridiculous.
We'll talk about that a little bit. I'm happy to report. I'm removing the crisping sleeve. Rich, no blowout. Wow.
I am going to take a picture right now. Should I tweet this or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Out of context tweet where you just a picture of that. Nothing else. Just that picture.
Oh, you want to go that style, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Let's. Here's the proof that there was no blowout. I'm going to tweet this out
because I'm a big fan of buffalo related things and buffalo chicken and all that sort of stuff. Because this is important for me, especially in these trying times. You need quick, freezer food, and this could be one of them. So.
Okay, live taste test of the big and bold buffalo chicken Hot Pocket.
There we go.
No blowout.
That's huge. I think people don't understand how big of a deal that is too. Recently has there been less blowouts? Have they maybe figured that out? Do we maybe because we influence a lot of stuff. I mean,
I gotta tell you, this is the first time maybe ever I've had a Hot Pocket without a blowout. So I can't. I
thought you tweeted something. Oh no, that was like the Stromboli or whatever that you had.
Sir,
fucking DiGiorno. So
that was the DiGiorno Stromboli.
Right.
A superior product which costs 35 cents more. I better not have a blowout for 35 cents more. If I'm paying 35 cents more for what's basically a Hot Pocket, okay. It shouldn't have blowouts. Okay, that money should go to something. Okay, so no blowout.
Okay.
Off to a good start.
Do you? So I'm wondering to get a good idea of this buffalo blasted crust. Should you maybe take a bite of the corner before any of the or like lick the top? Like I'm just trying to figure out how we can, because I want that flavor without worrying about, like, I think we need to address that first and then address the insides. Yeah, well, careful now.
Yeah, it's dangerous biting into a hot pocket.
Yeah, you never know.
I could tell you that just in the buffalo blasted crust.
What's the aroma? What is your extra nostril doing here?
It smells like a hot pocket, man. And the buffalo blasted crust, I got to be honest, there's a little bit of orange coloring on the top half of the crust, but this is not what I would call buffalo blasted. So I think that's
more in the yellow family right now, right? It's just kind of
you figured there'd be a powder or maybe a baked on cheese or something, but I got to tell you, it's just a little bit of orange specks, and I'm not tasting anything. All right, so let me take a bite of this. So I'm going to take a bite. Go ahead. Man, I know the roof of my mouth is dead.
I know, I can feel it right now. I if I could do it in solidarity with you, I would, but
I'll do what you said. I'm going to bite the corner of the crust where there's no filling because it's
right.
Yeah,
and that might open up. That might make the reduce the heat a little bit too. So,
all right, let's go. Here we go.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so I didn't get any filling. This is disgusting to listen to, probably.
It's hideous, but hey, whatever. Trying times. We're going to try some weird stuff out here for the next few weeks or months.
I got to tell you, the buffalo blasted crust is a gimmick.
Really?
No flavor whatsoever.
Man, that hurts. Okay, that hurts. It really
Let me try another corner.
Yeah, try another corner and see. But I think you would know. If it is buffalo blasted. They don't just say buffalo crust or buffalo influenced crust. Like, they say buffalo blasted crust.
Blasted. Yeah.
Are you being blasted by buffalo flavoring right now?
I'm not.
Then that's a lie. Then even if it was okay, they said blasted.
Oh my God, I need a drink. Hold on.
That's a sodium coming in quick. So
no, it's like chewing on sandpaper. When there's no filling involved.
Right. It is tough. Yeah.
Rich, at the end of the day, this is just a big hot pocket. Okay, so
it's big and bold.
We've established the crust is a gimmick.
Yeah.
Which is
very disappointing. I won't lie. I'm pretty disappointed by that, but it's okay.
I'm gonna go middle here, try to get some filling. Here we go. This is so scary for the roof of my mouth.
I know.
Okay.
It's hideous.
All right.
Give it a good chew. Give it let it put it around the mouth. Get the taste buds.
Yeah. Can I take another bite?
Oh, absolutely. Oh no, you have to take another bite.
This is I can tell you that now that I can see the inside, I don't see anything resembling a piece of chicken. Should I take a picture?
Is it just buffalo sauce? Like what?
Let me take a picture of this. It's basically, it just looks like slop, orange slop. I swear to you, there's no meat in this thing. Hold on, I gotta take a picture. I gotta take a picture. Here we go. I'll keep the thread alive on Twitter. Here we go.
Yeah, keep it all nice and organized, of course. So.
This is the filling, and as you'll see in a moment, Rich.
Am I refreshing Twitter at Voices Wrestling to find this? Yeah.
Okay. The box shows several pieces of like lovely looking grilled chicken.
Yes. Yeah. That is not what your insides look like.
No, I'm taking a picture now. It's just slop.
It's disappointing because I'm looking at the photo before with the no blowout photo, and it looks fantastic. But
it looks fantastic, yeah. Okay, so I've got the picture. Let me just put a little caption on here. Very disappointing filling. No chicken.
Yeah, because so the cover does tell us the buffalo blasted crust, and that is, as we've discovered, a complete fallacy. And yeah, there's like tender pieces of grilled chicken bursting out of this box. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like you just got done like getting, some perfectly grilled chicken breast, and slice them up delicately. Those beautiful, white meat with the grill marks. There's no grill marks in your insides, right?
No, and I'm going to take a picture of the box too for a side by side.
Right. For people that might not know, I'm
Okay. All right. So I'm going to send that out. Now you'll see in a moment. This thing.
Refresh.
Let me take another bite. All right, I got the tweet out.
Okay, let's see here. Oh boy. Oh god, that looks hideous.
Doesn't it look awful?
Oh god. Ugh.
Okay. I got a giant bite of filling on this last bite.
Okay, that's good.
No semblance of chicken anywhere in this thing, number one.
Oh, no.
Number two, it just doesn't taste very good. I mean, it's very bland, and I'm a big fan of buffalo flavor. It's just like orange buffalo lava that's very flavorless, and I got to tell you, it's not even spicy.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's what I was going to say. Maybe it would just... Because my thought was when you initially were going to bite this thing is that it was just going to be oozing with, like, buffalo sauce. And it would have been a little spicy, and that would have covered up the flavor. Because, sometimes, you use a little bit of heat to cover up the lack of flavor. But you're saying that it's not even spicy. That's...
Yeah, and I got to tell you, sometimes in a Hot Pocket, and you know this, the meat and the filling will settle to the bottom.
Right.
No, I'm squeezing down on the bottom.
There's nothing coming out.
I've retrieved one very pathetic piece of chicken from the bottom of the sandwich. All right, let me try it. Now my dog's getting in the mix here. You might get it in a second. Hold on.
Right.
This might be all yours in about 30 seconds.
Right.
Okay. I got the one piece of chicken that was inside of this thing on this bite.
New development.
And I have to be honest, it doesn't help.
Oh, man.
Now, I am not a food snob, as you know. I know how to cook, and I'm a good cook, and you know that too. And
I've never tasted your food, so I can't confirm that actually. So
I'm a tremendous cook, and I like good food. But I also am a proponent of trash food. I think everyone has to eat trash food from time to time. So I'm not a food snob.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No.
So I wouldn't be burying this thing just to bury it for the yucks.
No, you're a man who constantly eats Hot Pockets. I mean, let's be honest. Like,
if this thing was good, I'd say it was good.
Like, you know what you're getting with a Hot Pocket, but yeah, you can't lie and say this one's good if it's not.
I put over the DiGiorno Stromboli the other day. Okay,
that looks incredible, by the way. I'm about to go seek that out this weekend. So, best
trash food maybe I've ever had.
Interesting,
especially for the quote unquote microwave sandwich, gimmick. Oh, I'm burping already. I'm having reverb here. Okay, so I've opened up the Hot Pocket, and I'm going to take a picture of the inside contents. And I got to tell you,
so we're doing like surgery here. We're doing like we're.
Now you can see what I meant when I said
we got the cadaver. We got the cadaver of the big and bold here. So
yeah, it's Rich. It's not good.
I just got a new follower. I wonder what he thinks of.
Okay, so
I wonder if he became a follower because somebody retweeted the Hot Pocket thing into his.
Okay, I sent out the autopsy photo. You could check that out now.
Let's see here. Very disappointed by this. Oh God! Oh,
doesn't that look atrocious?
Oh God! It looks like shit. It looks like literal shit. It looks like dog shit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I told you, and I only ate one piece of chicken. So those other little 2 fractions of chicken you see is all that was in there.
Gross. So that sauce isn't even spicy?
No.
That's hideous. Yeah, that is.
The buffalo blasted crust is a gimmick. It's not buffalo blasted at all. The filling, as you can see, is just orange lava. It's cool now because it starts off 9 million degrees,
right? And then it's fucking frigid in a minute and a half. So the box shows like yellow, it shows red, it shows chicken, and what I see from yours is just orange. I just see orange goo everywhere.
Yeah, it's awful.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to finish this.
Give that one to the dog. Don't even give that. No, your dog. That dog doesn't even deserve that. No, throw that in the fucking trash. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she can handle the buffalo. One time I dropped a buffalo wing, and she pounced on it, and I said, "All right, it's your funeral." She immediately spit it out. She was licking her mask the rest of the night because she wasn't she'd never had spicy. So the dog learned a lesson there. So I'm not going to do that to her again. I'm just going to finish the damn thing. And
the dogs, they don't like the spicy. They mind you,
don't.
They'll put it in their mouth and they immediately spit it out, and then they start sneezing a bunch. And yeah, I tell them, I'm like, I know, I try to tell you, because I'll yell like, no, and they still go for it. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah. So, okay. How do you want me to wrap this up? Do I grade it? Do I obviously I'm not recommending
I think we should star rate this for sure. So now, real quick. You did not buy any of the other big and bolds, correct?
No, this is the only flavor they had.
Okay, because I see I'm scrolling the Hy-Vee website right now, and there apparently is a big and bold sriracha steak, which I know is going to be terrible. So I was hoping that you didn't get it because it looks hideous. It looks just absolutely terrible. It has sriracha blasted crust. It says jalapenos, cheddar cheese, creamy cheese sauce, and what appears to some maybe be steak. I guess it's sriracha steak, so I guess it is. Don't buy it. Somehow that only has okay. This has 15 grams of protein. The steak, somehow, some way yours says it has 18 grams of protein. Yet there was 3 pieces of chicken in there, right?
There was no shot on planet Earth that there was 18 grams of protein in this thing.
Where's the protein come in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if there was cheese. This thing was so bad, I'm thinking it was a mistake.
Yeah, you almost need to. I mean, maybe off air. I wouldn't advise doing it on the air, but maybe give this a test run like later tonight or tomorrow or whatever when your stomach has calmed down. Because yeah, this is just nothing appears to be correct in this so far. So
I do have the other sandwich, Rich, that I could do later. And listen, I think it's my duty to do that sriracha steak. I got to be honest.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's available everywhere, but it does say sriracha steak, big and bold, from Hot Pockets. So.
This was so disappointing. I really thought I was going to like this.
Well, because like I said, I was hoping you did because I really love any buffalo thing. Like I'll eat when people ask me like, hey, what's the one meal you could eat forever? Like I always say pizza's the one that I could definitely eat. But the number 2 would be like buffalo wings. You know what I mean? Boneless, bone-in, buffalo, chicken tender, something like that. But if it's like got buffalo sauce on, I'll pretty much eat it all. Like I could eat that 5 days in a row and never get sick of it whatsoever. And sometimes do. So that's...
Yeah, this is... I have to tell you, we started off so promising with the no blowout, and the box. I mean, it looks tremendous on the box. I mean, this was very disappointing. If I have to rate this, how am I? What?
On the normal star scale, normal Dave Meltzer 5-star scale here, or 7 stars if you need to use it. So,
honest to God, this is one of the worst Hot Pockets I've ever had.
Unbelievable! Wow. Even so, you had the barbecue beef one, right?
Yeah, it was bad too.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. So where does that rank in terms of the...
I don't know. It might have been better than this thing. This thing was really bad.
Interesting. Wow.
And there's some Hot Pockets that I enjoy. I mean, on a Hot Pocket standard, on this is what I have to eat right now standard, there are some Hot Pockets that are okay. Like I like the meatball mozzarella. I like the jalapeno chicken lean pocket. Mm-hmm. I got like 4 of them in the freezer. Those are okay on a desperate day. This... On a Hot Pocket scale, even because on a food scale it'd be like -3 stars.
Right. But we've had this discussion too, where like sometimes you just want Olive Garden, and you know that there's better Italian food. You know that it's not good Italian food, but you just want Olive Garden. You just want Taco Bell sometimes, and you understand that you probably passed 3 Mexican restaurants that have better food than Taco Bell. You know this, but you don't care.
Nobody gets Taco Bell when they want tacos. You get Taco Bell when you want Taco Bell.
I want a Baja fucking chalupa, and I'm going to go to Taco Bell to get a Baja freaking chalupa. So
you want that Taco Bell flavor that you're craving in that moment. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a proponent of trash food. I think you can mix in trash food now and then. Okay, so even grading this on just a Hot Pocket scale, I would give this on the Dave Meltzer 5-star scale 1 star.
Unbelievable. Wow.
And quite possibly the worst Hot Pocket I've ever had.
The Baron Corbin of Hot Pockets here. This is
the most wasteful 1,170 grams of sodium that I've and the worst 390 calories that I've ever consumed.
There's going to be you'll be at a doctor, cardiologist one day, and he'll be talking about your high blood pressure or something like that when you're an older man. Obviously, you're in peak physical condition right now, so
yeah.
Not an issue right now, but later down the line, and you're going to be thinking about like, damn it. They're like, you got to reduce your sodium intake because it's clear you've maybe had too much sodium in your life or whatever, and you're going to be like, damn it. Like, you're gonna be able to point to this moment right here, right now.
It's for the listeners. It's for the listeners.
Unbelievable.
The big and bold started off so promising. Looks great on the box. 50% larger. They don't even let you cook 2 at a time. I'm like, I'm in business here. This thing's going to be fantastic. Buffalo style chicken right up my alley. What a letdown. And thankfully, I've got the photographic evidence that the Twitter followers can see right now.
Those insides are vile. That looks so bad.
Well, listen, I didn't want people to think that, we were doing a gimmick here.
Right. Yeah, we're always true to our listeners, but just in case.
I'm eating it, and my descriptions are fair, and hold on.
Yeah, no problem. You took a big risk here, so make sure.
I've polished off 3/4 of a Coke Zero already. That's sodium, man. But nothing about this was enjoyable. It's not even like, oh, the buffalo blasted crust. That was a nice little twist. No, it was nothing. It was a gimmick. And it wasn't like, oh, well, at least I got some nice hearty 18 grams of chicken. No, there was like no chicken inside. Look, there's like oozing cheddar cheese on the box. None of that.
Yeah, where was the cheese? You only got buffalo sauce somehow.
You
got 3 pathetic pieces of chicken and fucking a gallon of buffalo sauce. That's not even spicy.
I got a 50% larger Hot Pocket crust with orange buffalo sauce inside. And it wasn't even flavorful or spicy. This had no benefit.
Jesus. It's not coronavirus, people. He just ate a big and bold buffalo-style chicken Hot Pocket. So.
Yeah, I really should have done the DiGiorno Stromboli on air instead. But listen, our gimmick is the Hot Pockets.
Absolutely. And I'm buying that. I'm buying that DiGiorno thing, by the way, this weekend.
You should buy it. Listen, I saw it. I had to get it. It's you're going to pay that premium price.
That's
it's
fine.
like 35 cents
it's
more.
It's all right. It's all good.
I paid $3.99 for that. $3.99.
Wow, that's tough.
That's a lot for a Hot Pocket.
It's a lot. How many come in the box then?
I don't even buy the Hot Pocket unless they're marked down to $2.
Hold on. Hold on. This is $4 for 2 sandwiches?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dude, it's packaged the same way. You get 2 in a box, and they come with a crisping sleeve. It's the same shit.
$3.99 for that, though. That's I don't know.
Yeah,
but you said it was good, though. You said it was good. That's
good,
pricey, though.
But I don't know if it was $4.
That's close. Like, I could get real food for $4. So now
you can go get an actual sandwich, not a microwave fake sandwich for $4. From like a deli or something. But it's the same thing. They're both made by Nestle.
Oh, everything's made by Nestle, though.
It's like, but it's hard to understand until you open it. Like, you're like, this is a fucking rebranded Hot Pocket. Like, but it was like a slightly higher tier Hot Pocket. No blowout. Even the crust was better. It's hard to explain. You need to try it, and I think you'll agree.
It's just they put more effort into it. They knew that you were, paying a little premium price. So
you're paying the premium price. You're getting the premium Hot Pocket with the DiGiorno Stromboli, as well. You should. This piece of shit, which was also $3.99.
Bury this thing. Bury it. Let's go.
This is the worst Hot Pocket I've ever had. And I've had some bad Hot Pockets. Rich, there's bad Hot Pockets out there. But it's like you fight your way through it. You're like, This, I don't even think I'm going to eat the other one. I'll cook the other one, and I'll open it up to see if the first one was like a manufacturing error.
Yeah, don't waste your time, though. Don't waste the calories. Don't waste the sodium.
No.
Like, yeah, open that thing up, and if it doesn't look any better, toss that shit in the garbage and move on with your life. So,
how bad is this review if I'm cooking the other one just to see if it's a manufacturing error?
Right, to make sure that the first one wasn't oh man, we forgot to add cheese to that one.
Yeah, like maybe I just got a dud, by chance. And if I did, I'll come on here and correct. But what a letdown! Horrible.
Man, I really thought you were. I really thought you were going to say, "Hey, Rich, go get this thing. Get this thing right now." So I have confirmed the other big and bold flavor. There is only one other big and bold flavor, and it is the sriracha steak.
I'm going to find that
flavor. So somehow, some way, the sriracha steak has 1,200 calories, 1,220 calories. No, sorry, sodium. 440 calories. I would definitely not recommend you eat anything that is 1,220 calories for one sandwich. That is your daily, basically your daily intake.
There are
calories,
there's legitimately days I don't consume that many calories.
Right, so don't do that. No, it's 440 calories, but the sodium is 1,220. So despite only 15 grams of protein in this one. So now here's my worry, and this is why maybe you should consider maybe not doing the sriracha steak. But I know you're nothing if not fair, and you do enough for these listeners here, and I'm sure you'll do this for the listeners as well. But the fact that the Big and Bold upset about the lack of Hot Pockets, or
maybe,
yeah, or they're wondering, is it in the garbage? And they're like, give it to me, come on, I'll give it a try. Like, the issue is this says the sriracha steak says 15 grams of protein. Now the worry I have is that this fraud that you just put in your mouth says it's 18 grams. Like how little meat is going to be in this thing then?
There's going to be no meat.
That's why if this thing promised 18 and gave you that. This thing promises 15. This Big and Bold sriracha steak. I worry about how bad that could be. So
yeah, it's going to be horrendous, which is why I need to find it.
Right. It also sounds like a terrible flavor too. It's but you've said the jalapeno. They do jalapeno as well. That the Nestle Corporation. So
well, the jalapeno chicken lean pocket's a very good Hot Pocket. Probably one of the best around.
That is a good one. That is good. I've had that one too.
But you think Hot Pocket, like vanity searches Twitter and they come across our thread like, oh, these guys are taste tested. Oh, wow. No, we can't. No.
I would assume they do. I mean, I work at a company that, I have a bunch of things set up, and I know these other companies do. I know they look for it. They might just throw a like on it because they have like a bot that just goes and likes everything. Or they might, there might actually be a discussion between two people tomorrow about your tweets where somebody that's, one of the social media managers or whatever looks and goes, oh, let's see what's going on here. And then they have a discussion of, oh, well, it appears this customer was not happy with the Big and Bold Buffalo style chicken. And there'll be an email. I think there'll be an email sent, not that anything's going to change, but just an idea of like, hey, just to let you know, some people are saying this about, that these days you can use the public to, get an idea of what's going on with what your brand equity is and what people like and don't like or whatever. So someone's going to look at that tweet. Somebody in the Nestle, Hot Pockets, whatever marketing company they use, somebody's going to see your tweet and well, because we got 13,000+ followers. Like we would get through any filter system too.
My prediction is this goes the way of those pretzel-filled atrocities that they've already discontinued. That's my prediction here.
Now, do we know when the Big and Bold started? When the idea of the Big and Bold started? I can do a little bit of.
Well, it's new. It even says it's new on the box, and it just hit. The first time I saw it in the store was last week. This is a new product.
I'm trying to see. I wonder if we got a press release or something like that. Oh, 2 weeks ago, Delish.com talks about this. So here's how they pumped it up here. Probably a fucking PR. Corinne Miller, February 26, 2020, says, Hot Pockets are designed to be a meal in a convenient little dough pouch. But if we're being totally honest with yourself, one usually doesn't cut it. Yes, you're the only one who has reached for the second one. Yeah. Oh, yes, you're not the only one that's reached for a second one. And maybe a third. Nobody's ever reached for a third. You can't have 3 Hot Pockets because then you have one extra one, right?
Listen, you got to go 4 at that point.
It's 2 or 4. It's always in increments of that, unless it's the Big and Bold Buffalo style chicken, and then you just ditch that as quickly as possible.
Well, if we weren't doing a taste test, I would have made both. Let's be honest. But you got to go 2 or 4. You got to go even numbers. You can't have
it's like the Pop-Tart thing too. No one's ever opened a bag of Pop-Tarts and ate one and said, you know what, I'm gonna put a piece of tape on this one and have it later. Like nobody's ever done that in the history of Pop-Tarts. Nobody has ever put a piece of tape on their leftover one Pop-Tart and said, later or tomorrow I'll have this one. So.
Yeah, imagine you pat your belly, you go, I've had my fill of Pop-Tart. I've had enough for today. No, you're eating them both, or you just throw the other one out. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody's keeping the loose Pop-Tart. So yeah, Corinne is off base there.
She says here that she embeds a tweet from or it embeds an Instagram post from the Impulsive Buy, which sounds like a great Instagram account here. It says the Impulsive Buy has pics of 3 different new oversized Hot Pockets. We have broken the story open: buffalo style chicken, sriracha steak, and unfortunately chicken bacon ranch. That sounds hideous. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to eat the chicken bacon ranch.
I'm not a ranch guy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound. I mean, given what I've seen with this buffalo style chicken one, the vision I have is that you bite into this thing and it just oozes fucking ranch dressing, which sounds hideous, right? Like,
well, hold on. It doesn't just ooze ranch dressing. It oozes hot ranch dressing.
right? It just sounds really bad.
Which sounds like the worst thing. I couldn't even imagine. You bite in, it's just hot ranch dressing. That disgusting white liquid with the little specks coming out of the hot pocket and just burning your entire mouth. That's exactly what it would be.
Right, and we're decidedly for people that don't know, we're a decidedly un-ranch podcast here. We're very anti-ranch here. So
anti-ranch
like
podcast.
Sometimes
absolutely.
you got to do a ranch. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just happens, but really I've tried to just like avoid it at all costs, and I really don't have it much at all anymore.
No, ranch is it's a bad condiment.
I'll do blackened ranch at Popeyes because that's pretty good. They add a little bit of flavoring to that, but that's about it. That's the extent of my ranch eating. But like the plain old ranch, get out of here. That's never happened. So
no, never, and not in a hot pocket. You can't have hot ranch. Who eats hot ranch? So what's Corinne have to say about these things?
Well, it's kind of a shitty article from the rest of the way here. So Corinne, I don't know what she's doing here. Well, she's a freelance writer who also appears in Men's Health, Women's Health, Self, Glamour, and more. So she's just fucking embedding tweets and churning these things out anyway. But she says, here's everything we know about the new flavors right now. Sriracha steak is loaded with jalapenos, cheddar cheese steak, and creamy cheese sauce, and it's all wrapped up in a, quote, sriracha blasted crust. The buffalo-style chicken is packed with chicken, spicy buffalo sauce, and cheddar cheese in a buffalo-infused crust. Finally, the chicken bacon ranch is, well, chicken bacon, chicken ranch, applewood smoked bacon, and mozzarella all wrapped up in a cheddar ranch crust.
Wait, so she didn't even eat them?
No, she's just fucking like whatever's on the cover. She's
then why was she just doing Hot Pocket PR?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know what this thing is, but Corinne,
what a garbage! She gets paid for this?
I guess. Well, if you take any solace in, she probably doesn't get paid much. So she probably writes for like 19 different websites. It just churns out these like junk ass fucking articles all the time. So.
Corinne stinks. Corinne's the worst. What's her last name?
Corinne Miller.
Corinne Miller's the worst. My God. I mean, what is that? She's just doing Hot Pocket PR.
She has a master's degree from American University, lives by the beach, and hopes to own a teacup pig and a taco truck one day.
Wait, she's got a master's degree. I don't even care what it's in. She has a master's degree, and this is what she's doing.
Well,
writing Hot Pocket PR. I mean, there's nothing there. Can she at least taste the damn thing and give an opinion?
I agree.
You think Hot Pocket's you think she's a real person?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I get articles all the time sent to me from like at my job. I get like they're sent to me and like I look at the picture. Like all you have to do is I look up the picture that they give me. Like, hi, I'm like Steve Thompson or whatever. Here's my picture. And I look it up in like 10 seconds on Google and I find it's like a stock image. And I'm like, okay, Steve, like, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you. We're not going to post your article, Steve, because let me see if Corinne's picture comes up anywhere else. So
she's a fugazi.
Can you guess how Corinne is spelled?
Corrine.
Close. Korin.
Oh, come on. This is not a real human. This is not a real human living on the beach. Give me a break.
She does not live on the beach. That's
go walk off the pier.
All right, let's see here. Oh, this self.com.
Is she hot? What's she look like? She hot?
Yeah, she's all right.
She's doable? Yeah, you would?
I'm not the...
Would you?
I'm not the pickiest man. Let's see. Let me do a zoom in.
None of us are. No men are. We pretend we are, but we're not.
Yeah,
would you?
mean, really, like, yeah, I think I would.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we get a little bit more. We get a little
Rich,
bit more.
Listen, I'm not asking if you'd hold her hand in the mall.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I'm not holding her hand, but I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, well, there you go.
So we get a little more detail on self.com. Corinne Miller says Corinne is a former New Yorker who now lives at the beach. She received a double BA in International Relations and Marketing from the College of William and Mary and an MA in Interactive Journalism from American University.
Okay. I guess, listen, maybe Corinne's a nice lady. But,
I think Corinne's got to pay off some bills here, so that's why she's writing Hot Pockets.
Yeah, student loans. Listen, Bernie's losing, so those student loans aren't going to pay themselves.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think. Yeah, that's It given the events of the last week or so, she needs to churn out a few more articles because that College of William and Mary and the American University I don't think that's getting wiped. So it says Corinne has been published at the Washington Post, New York Daily News, Cosmopolitan, Women's Health, The Bump, Yahoo, among others. At Self, she covers all things health. When she's not at work, Corinne enjoys running, eating tacos, and trying to keep up with her kids. Oh, interesting. She can pretty much always be found at the beach.
Someone else would as well.
You can read more about her expertise on LinkedIn. So,
all right. She's probably a nice lady.
She's got children she's got to pay for. So
I kind of feel bad now. But that's still a trash article. You can't be doing Hot Pocket PR.
Well, compared to like what we just did here. You know what I mean? Like we just gave you so much here and so much detail and all that. And yeah, it's just, you want a little bit more out of it. So
well, listen, sir, we only do New Japan and AEW PR around here.
Exactly.
Okay? There's no Hot Pocket PR unless they want to give us the payola.
At Nestle. Hit us up. We can be bought.
Yeah. Slipping at them DMs with Kadani and Khan, and maybe we'll do your PR as well. Okay, we can be bought. Speaking of which, we have an ad this week, don't we?
We do have an ad this week. Yeah, you ready for it?
Nice transition.
That's good. Yeah, before we start talking about coronavirus is a good idea, because I was wondering, like, how are we gonna like talk about the virus, talk about everything get canceled, talk like heavy duty business, companies going out of business, and then just smoothly transition into the Roman read. So I like that you're doing it here. So fantastic. Take it away, Joe.
Oh, I'm doing a read too.
Absolutely. I mean, I can do it if you want. Do you want me to do it? I'll do it.
I'll do it. I got it.
That's
I got
fine.
this, man.
This is your forte, man. Like,
Okay, let's
I'm the
make
one
it
that needs the
natural.
help. Let's be honest. Joe Lanza doesn't need the help. Rich might need the help, though.
Rich, I have a question.
Take it away. What do you got?
Rich, I have a question.
Okay. I have an answer, maybe.
If you were to guess, on average, how many days people in the U.S. have to wait to see a doctor, what would you say?
Okay, so we had this question a few weeks ago, and I got it wrong, and I don't remember the right answer. So I'm going to go, well, is this pre or post coronavirus?
Oh, my God, Rich, go with the just
25 days, Joe. 25 days people have to wait.
Let's get through the ad here.
Damn.
Americans have to wait around 29 days to see a doctor in major U.S. cities. If you're dealing with a condition like erectile dysfunction, you want treatment ASAP. That's why our friends at Roman have spent years building a digital platform that can connect you with a doctor licensed in your state, all from the comfort of your home. That's right. Roman makes it convenient to get treatment you need on your schedule. Just grab your phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. And if the doctor decides that treatment is right for you, Roman's Pharmacy can ship your medication to you with free 2-day shipping. You also get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you have questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. Maybe you need a little more power. With Roman, there are no commitments and you can cancel anytime. So if you're struggling with ED like Rich, go to getroman.com/VOW for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/VOW for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping.
There you go. So I think, and again, this is, the read is the part that they gave us is kind of done or whatever. But let's be honest, Joe, there's no sports for a few weeks. There's no wrestling. What are you going to do with your time? Read? No one's going to read. Who's got time to read? I'm not going to fucking pick up a book and read. So, this Roman, this sticks on a little bit of an extra, you can't tell the lady, no, I'm watching the game. Like, no, I mean, the game's not on.
No, that's right.
So it's fucking time, I think, right?
It's, pointing at the wrist. It's fucking time. Absolutely. Yeah. And, Yeah,
ladies of the world, watch out. Your men have a lot of free time.
A lot of free time.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of free time. I'm going to be washing those sheets frequently. So, this isn't the read anymore,
I said that the read officially stopped, and we kind of added it right here because I don't know if the Roman Corporation wants us saying, hey, that now that all the sports are canceled, you're gonna fuck your significant other a lot more. But I mean,
that's not the worst time.
It's Thursday. Usually when the podcast is over, I'm sitting on my ass watching the fucking Pelicans versus the Warriors or whatever. But that's not happening today. So
Oh, lucky nurse.
We'll see what happens. Lucky nurse. Is
she going to be wearing a mask to protect you from the COVID-19 though?
She might, yeah. Well, I mean, she I don't know what she brings home. So
you're 1,000,000% getting this disease.
Oh, 100%. I've already told people at work that like when I know that I have it, I will let you know, because there will come a time where it's 100% going to be in her hospital. She's 100% going to have it. I'm 100% going to have it, and it's a matter of me just like not going to all the old people at my work and like shaking their hands and coughing on them and whatnot. So I've already told everybody like, hey, by the way, in case you don't remember, I am married to a nurse, so at some point I'm probably going to get this. So there you go.
I want to note that I've never had the flu. I want to make that clear once again, in case I've never made that clear before. But I'm 1,000,000% getting this as well. I mean, my wife's a banker. She's dealing with that filthy money.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Of all people that are also going to deal with it, she is every single day being handed stuff by people are sharing pens, people are sharing money, people are sharing, banking slips, that whatever the hell goes on in the tube, in the drive-through. Does she have to do the tube? Does she have to do both of those?
Occasionally, yeah. Well, the worst part is she's in charge of the vault. That's her responsibility.
Okay.
So it has to be counted frequently. I mean, that's a disaster. You got to handle that shit. So, we're both going to be fucking zombies, me and you, within a month.
We're not going to stop. We're definitely going to do that. We're going to still do the podcast, though, of course.
Oh, listen, the podcast has not stopped.
I'm not missing a fucking week. Are you kidding?
The wrestling doesn't stop. Okay.
Well, it sort of does, but kind of. Not Big Japan, but everybody else.
There's ad buys. I'm getting that ad money. Okay, we're talking about something. I'll come on here and talk about Big Japan every week if I have to. Okay, I'm not getting that ad money's coming in.
We just spent 50 minutes talking about Hot Pockets. So if you don't think we can fill up a show with if no wrestling happens in the world, and you don't think these two assholes can go on and talk for 2.5 hours, then you don't know what you're talking about.
It's an ad week. We're talking about something. There's a Game Changer show going on as we speak. Those fucking guys, they don't stop for anything.
I know, there's blood everywhere. Guys are like getting knocked out and CT, and it's just, I said, if you ever want to return to normalcy, just watch GCW. And you're like, you know what? Everything's right in the world. It's fine.
I mean, G Raver doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's even going to stop wrestling if he contracts the COVID-19. So, there's going to be wrestling to talk about, and we're going to talk about it. Okay. Can't stop, won't stop. We're not going to do it. It's going to keep going every week. There's wrestling talk. WWE's not. Listen, well, I'll talk about Raw from the Performance. Well, I won't go that far. Are we going to do Raw from the Performance Center?
No, we're going to watch old wrestling before I watch Raw. So,
no AEW from the warehouses in Jacksonville.
That might be fun a little bit, but yeah, there's something that gets missed a little bit with empty, and it's the same issue that I kind of had with the idea that like everything was going to get run without people in the crowd or what. And I get why, that was the one option that people came up with. But I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, everybody says, oh, that's fine because I just want to see, the game or whatever. But you don't realize how much of like, especially like March Madness. Yeah, it'd have been cool to see, games or whatever. But the crowd's what makes it. Stuff is just not the same when it's a novelty once or twice. It's a novelty for a little bit, but it really loses a lot. Because I remember this a few years ago when there were the riots in Baltimore. The White Sox played the Orioles the day after there was a bunch of rioting, or the day of a bunch of rioting. I forget exactly what the scenario was. And they played an empty stadium game. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is cool. You get to hear the sounds of the game. You get to hear, the noise of the, the bats getting into the bins, and you hear the crack of the bat, and you hear the ball bouncing, and you hear, cleats hitting the dugout or whatever. And like, that's all fun and good for like 3 innings. And then you're like, oh God, this is really boring. Like, it's just, it's eerie quiet. And the basketball games are especially, there are some times where you go to a basketball game and you hear a basketball game and you see it, and there's like, there's not that much crowd there. It's very low noise on the crowd. And it's very weird basketball. Very, very weird, especially when the players are still talking and the coaches are still shouting, all that sort of stuff. Yet you don't hear any crowd. It is very weird. So the idea that like everyone's just going to kind of pick it back up with the empty arena stuff and, oh, that's fine, whatever, I'll still watch it. Like, I think everybody thinks that they're going to enjoy it more than they're actually going to enjoy not hearing any crowd.
Especially wrestling. I mean, because you're talking about real sports. At least, those are games, and but wrestling, you're performing for the crowd.
Right. Did you watch any of the DT No People Gate stuff?
No,
I imagine you didn't, but...
No, there was a Stardom show.
that's what I meant.
That
Yeah. But there was also a DDT one. It started was the No People Gate. Sorry. Then DDT also had one. But what was the reason I brought DDT up is I watched a little bit. I watched some clips on Twitter or whatnot, not the whole show or anything. But it was interesting that like guys were doing comedy spots and looking towards where the crowd would be, but there's no crowd there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And you're like, and that's the problem though is that's going to happen with a lot of guys. I mean, when you're brought up in wrestling, the day that when you progress past, here's a back bump, here's how you go off the ropes. You're already at, here's how you play the crowd. You know, day 2, day 3, day 4, whatever. It's okay. Here's what you do to get the crowd to do this. Here's how you look at the crowd. Here's how you play to the crowd. Here's what it's all about that, as you said. Yes, there's the technical stuff, but all that's really dependent on. So you're going to have like guys on Raw in an empty arena, you know, moving their bodies to go to the hard cam. And there's no one there.
Yeah, well, for the WWE robots, it'll be even harder because it's like muscle memory at this point. But I just mean just the basic concept of working a wrestling match. You're feeding off the crowd, and that's the direction you're taking your match. And you're doing things. You're peaking your match in certain places, and all of that's gone without a crowd. You know, it's. You know, I watched a little bit of that Stardom, and it's junk. I cannot watch wrestling without a crowd. It's very difficult. It's very different. So, you know, that'll be a challenge. I think for all these shows, they'll have, you know, bare bones. Talk about AEW and WWE. You know, they'll bring in a small amount of fans, or WWE's case, they have a warehouse full of wrestlers that have never been on TV that they could just use as fans if they want to at the Performance Center. But the other thing is, and I talked about this behind the paywall a little bit today, we're at peak hysteria right now. Today is going to be the worst day. And when I say today, we're recording on Thursday. Who knows what this is going to be like a week or two from now? It could be worse, or it could be better, and people will have come down from their trees and we're not as anxious. But today is just a really weird day.
Right. There's a great unknown to today. Like in a week, we're either going to know, fuck, this is awful. God damn it. We knew this was going to be bad. And it's even worse than we thought it was going to be. Or, you know what? It wasn't as bad as we thought. And the precautions we took maybe were the right idea. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, we can kind of get back a little bit to normalcy. But right now we have no fucking clue what's ahead of us. We're like, shut everything down and let's see what fucking happens in a week.
Yeah, because right now all of these, listen, once the NBA suspended their season, that was it for everyone. Because at that point, if you didn't follow their lead, you were going to look like a ghoul. Whether you were the NHL or baseball or tennis or Major League Soccer or all the conference basketball tournaments or concert tours, or once the NBA shut it down, whatever large gathering, local health departments where they were holding their tournament told them it was okay. You can not only run your tournament, but you can have fans there. We don't have any cases. We don't see any danger. If you want to run, go ahead. We're giving you the go-ahead. But the SEC decided to shut it down themselves. They didn't want to deal with the PR. Okay, they had no restrictions. They could have ran their tournament. No one was stopping them. And that was the case for a lot of these entities. But once the NBA shut it down, it's like that kind of forced everyone else's hand. It also got a lot of people off the hook. Now they didn't have to make a decision. It was easy. Just follow the NBA's lead. You know, because it looks like you're doing the correct and responsible thing. Not, you know, that might be a little overly cynical. Some of these entities probably just wanted to do the correct and responsible thing, but I'm also a realist, and I know a lot of them didn't. The Big East tipped off today. They wanted to play those games. And the only reason they canceled the rest of their schedule, in the middle of a game, by the way, was because they saw no one else was doing it, and they were starting to get some kickback.
Right, yeah. Well, and to the NBA's, like...
There's that element to it as well.
Oh, for sure. And to the NBA's credit and their detriment as well, is they knew, hey, tomorrow we're going to stop having crowds here, but today we'll have crowds. And then halfway through the Rudy Gobert thing and the Jazz and the Thunder, they realized, you know what, hold on a minute. Let's reel this in. And they were going to have the games later in the night, too. Like, they didn't cancel that game. The players said, we don't want to go out here. Like, that gets kind of lost in this whole thing, is that the NBA still kicking into, and they were the first to kind of do it. And like you said, they kind of set the precedent and they kind of move forward or whatnot. But they still had it took literally one of their players testing positive for the virus, getting on the court and them saying, holy shit, what are we doing? What's going on? We got to stop this thing right now. And like I said, yeah, they said the season's suspended, but we'll play the rest of the games today. And I think it was the Pelicans were like, no, fuck that. Like, we're done then. You know, we're not getting out there. Like, you just said the rest of the season's done. Why the hell should we go out there and do that? So they called the game really on themselves. But the NBA was fully ready to let those games play out. Let the rest of the games that were happening play out. So both to their credit and their detriment, like, again, like you're saying, and you and I kind of, the full disclosure, you and I are kind of a little bit different in terms of, you know, what's going on with this whole thing. And we'll maybe get into that as we're discussing it a little bit. But the idea that, like, yeah, I'm with you too, that like these companies and these entities, especially the NCAA and especially these conferences, probably were good with just saying, you know what, yeah, no fans, just the players. We'll make sure everyone's healthy. We'll make sure everyone's good. We'll do as much testing as we can. We'll clean everything. But like, we're cool with just letting these things go on because we have TV contracts. We have this, we have that, we have that sort of stuff. But with the Rudy Gobert thing, with the NBA finally saying, okay, no, this is over. This is done. We need to get control of this thing and really set an example more than anything, made everybody else now decide, okay, look, we got to do the same thing too. We can't keep going on with this.
If Rudy Gobert didn't test positive last night, all of these college basketball tournaments would have happened today with the empty arenas. Right.
And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, though. I think maybe it became a thing where people realized, oh, okay, like healthy people can have this thing. And people that don't show it, because like he had shown some symptoms or whatever, but he comes out to that game and says, yeah, I feel fine, I feel good, I feel ready to go. And then the doctor has to run on the court and go, no, stop, hold on, you might feel fine, but you have this. And you're fine because you're a perfectly healthy 29-year-old, whatever the hell Rudy Gobert is or whatever. You're good, but hey, this referee that you're, tapping on the back or whatever, or, touching, he might, have fucking Crohn's disease. Like, so no, we can't have you out here. And this is when it became a thing where I think every sport league realized, okay, maybe we don't have this as under control as we thought, or maybe we aren't as prepared as we thought we all were. But you're absolutely right. If Rudy Gobert doesn't have that, they'll go on for, another 2 weeks until maybe someone else has a Rudy Gobert thing that comes up. So.
Yeah, it would have. All of these leagues would continue playing in empty arenas until someone eventually tested positive for the disease, and then, or the virus or whatever. Then that league would have canceled everything, and then everyone would have followed suit. It was only this was going to. What I'm saying is, don't think that they all just simply had the best interests of the public at heart here. They'd be playing games right now if this guy didn't test positive. I don't have any doubt in my mind that would be the case. With the exception of the leagues that canceled well beforehand, like the Ivy League said 3 days ago, we're not playing our tournament.
Right.
I believe they did it in the best interest of fans, players, and staff because they did it 3 days ago.
Right. You can't in good conscience say the Big East is. You can't say in good conscience the Big East is doing it because they literally tried today and realized, you know what? Let's stop the game and then this shit right now. Like a game was literally going on. And they said, whoa, all right, you know what? Reel this back in. We're done.
They tipped off their game, and then they looked around and saw no one else was playing, and then they canceled the game at halftime and canceled the rest of the tournament. Okay? So, jerk-off motion to that. I don't buy that all of these entities wanted to do this. Some of them absolutely. And like you're saying, some of them, once it sort of sunk in that it was a reality that this thing can affect a healthy young athlete, I'm sure some of them were like, oh, maybe we need to reassess and not do this. I can believe that. But when we have one league tipping off this morning, I mean, come on. But the bottom line is we're at the point I'm trying to make here is that we're at peak hysteria right now. A week or 2 weeks from now, when people, if this doesn't get any worse, if I hear the term flatten the curve one more time, I'm going to bash my head through a wall. But if we do manage to flatten the curve and, 2 weeks from now, people have calmed down a little bit, then it might be a situation where WWE can bring in 300 people to the Performance Center like they did last night without people flipping out about it. Or AEW can bring in, a small group of 100 to 200 fans to whatever tiny building they're going to run these things in. People will stop because you can't today on Thursday, if you tried to run an event, there was just going to be outrage from all corners because we're at peak hysteria. And that's not me downplaying and saying that it won't get worse. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Maybe it'll get worse. Maybe it'll get better. I have no idea. It could go. I have no idea. I don't know. But there's also the possibility that we do flatten the curve. Can we come up with another term? I'm so sick of hearing flatten the curve. Maybe just for our purposes. Maybe if can I say something other than flatten the curve? Give me some ideas.
Reduce the okay, not flatten the curve. I got nothing for you. I'm trying to.
I'm so sick of nerds saying
but...
flatten the curve. but if this thing, so as I record this, I think there's 1,400 cases in the United States, confirmed cases. Okay, this isn't CNN. We're not going to get into, but we're not testing anybody. I don't care.
I would, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
This isn't the show for that. There's 1,400 confirmed cases. 7 days ago, there was 300 confirmed cases. If in 7 more days, there's 50,000 or 100,000 confirmed cases, this thing's getting worse. If there's fucking 2,200, then all right, there's a few more, but this isn't nearly as bad as the doomsdayers were saying. And I think some people will calm down, and I think there won't be such pressure or as much pressure as there. Today is the peak of the insanity, or at least I'm hoping so. So it's like today you kind of just have to play ball.
If we're lucky, and I hope, and not to interrupt you, I've been kind of playing this out in my head too. I really do hope that today is the peak insanity day, because if it's not, then fuck, like it's not good. If at this time next week there's a day that's even more insane than this one, but let's hope that we've reached the peak, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. And I think, as more people see what the symptoms are, it's maybe that'll calm some people. I don't think a lot of people understand it either.
No. I mean, God, until a day ago, you had people saying, I don't even think this thing is real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't a thing.
You have the I don't think it's real people. Then you have the people who think everyone's going to die. And unfortunately, those are the two loudest groups. So the two extremes, the doomsday people who want to whip everybody up into a frenzy, and the people who just don't take it seriously at all, the two groups that no one should be listening to, they have the most amplified voices, and that's, and to me, that's a problem. I don't like fear mongering. I don't like people giving worst case scenarios. I don't like that, because I don't think humans can handle that. That's why we have no toilet paper, because people can't handle worst case scenarios. And worst case scenarios are called that for a reason. It's not the likeliest outcome, but if you feed that to people, that's, I think the human mind is just, we're like designed to we have a panic trigger, and I think a lot of people operate that way, and I just don't like it. I don't think
there's no rice or pasta. Like Michelle just went out to stores before the show started and tried to get anything at the store for like her lunches over the next few days. She said there was literally nothing at the stores. They were empty.
I mean, what do people think is going to happen? I mean,
like, you can still get toilet paper, guys.
Why would we run out of food and toilet paper? Relax. Okay. I mean, geez, no, we don't want any of our elderly loved ones to get this thing. It'd be horrible, or in certain segments of the population and with bad immune systems. I get it. It's not that I'm downplaying it, but it doesn't do any good to create mass panic either. That does no one any good. Just wash your fucking hands and be more prudent about things. And if you're sick or you catch this thing, hang out in the house for a week. And let it play out. I mean, it's out of our control now until these people figure out kind of vaccine or whatnot. And it seems as though there's progress in that direction.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, well, I'm not as cynical as you. I mean, I think, yeah. It's like you can be cynical or, look, all I know is, and it's like, I know this is different. I get it. Every time one of these comes up, the doomsday scenarios are out there and they never play out. It's like, why would I think this would be any different? I don't, it's you see these estimates, 450,000 Americans are going to die. 19 million Americans are going to catch this thing. It's like, why? That was a leaked slide, American Hospital Association presentation that was deliberately meant to be the worst possible worst case scenario and humanly possible. Someone got a hold of this and tweeted it and it became news, and all it did was scare people. Why are you doing that? That person should like be arrested for that. That's a horrible thing to do to people, to scare people in that manner. You know, if the doctors and the Surgeon General and people like it wanted you, then they would feed this. It's scare tactics. You know, I don't know. I didn't want to get off on this tangent, but you know, it's at this point, it's, you know, we've canceled all large gatherings with the exception of Vince McMahon.
Which we'll get to in a second, of course.
Has not. Well, this is the transition. I mean,
yeah.
You know, that's like the last large gathering that, now listen, people might listen to this 2, 3, 4 days from now, and you know, it's complete. That's the thing. It's so weird because everything's so fluid that this is a weird show to try to attempt to do, because we're only working off the information that we have now, and the information changes literally every hour. But Tampa basically said, well, it's up to him, which I think is kind of shitty from Tampa's perspective. I mean, make a fucking decision. You know, and because, you know, and now what's Vince going to do? I mean, it seems as though if he wasn't going to cancel today, when everyone on earth was canceling for the reasons we already laid out, okay, then it seems to me that he wants to wait it out and see if something closer to my scenario plays out, where people kind of calm down over the next week or two. The problem is we're only like 23 days out or something like that.
Yeah, 23 or 24 days out. So we're pretty close. This isn't like something that's 45 days away or May or whatever. In that case, like, and that's where I kind of stand on this thing. I think what we're doing right now is the best plan of attack right now, is we're trying to kind of figure this thing out, figure out what's going to happen, figure out how much this is going to spread, all that sort of stuff, yada, yada. Again, this isn't that show to do that, but I think what they're doing now is the right move. But I am not in favor of like, okay, you know, in June, let's cancel everything. Like, hold on a minute. Like, let's see how, you know, the rest of March goes. Let's see how a little bit of April goes before we start canceling things in May and June and July and all that sort of stuff. So if WrestleMania was in May or June or whatever, then yeah, of course you would just say, hey, let's play it out. Let's see what's going to happen. But we're 24 days away. I mean, people are legitimately going to be leaving to go to this trip. In, you know, what are we talking? Like, people sometimes go there on Monday or whatever. You know, it's a whole week for a lot of people. It's a whole vacation for a lot of people. So we're talking, you know, not even like 24 days from when WrestleMania starts, but God, look at your calendar, man. That shit starts, you know, the 23rd is the first events that are going on. You know what I mean? Like the 30th events are starting to go on and stuff. So like, this is a big deal. We're like, yeah, we're 2 weeks out basically. So the idea is, and essentially what they're doing is, and this is real quickly. Here's kind of what the representatives from Hillsborough commissioner is the guy that was quoted in this Wrestling Inc. piece. He says, right now WrestleMania is about 3 weeks. We came to the conclusion that at this point we don't want to pull that plug. However, we wanted to give it at least a week to see what's going to happen, if WWE was going to do anything at all. If they don't, at that point, I will suggest that we do come together for an emergency meeting to discuss what to do at that particular point in time. Why was today not that meeting? Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why can't you settle that today?
Like, what is?
Yeah.
I honestly think best case scenario. I don't know if in a week's time we're like, all right, everything's good, everybody go back to normal. Like, I don't think we're there yet. I think maybe we'll have a better idea in a week's time. Is this going to get better or worse? But I really don't think in a week we're going to be able to say, you know what, fuck it, let's bring 90,000 people from all across the world to Tampa Bay, Florida, to watch WrestleMania. Like, I really don't think that's going to happen in a week. But who the hell knows?
Right? We might know where it's trending better in a week, but we may have flattened the curve.
There you go. See, good use of it. Where we can start saying, okay, you know what? Let's do another few weeks. Is this what you'll know in a week is, okay, our plan has our idea of siphoning people off, keeping people kind of isolated, that sort of stuff, the stuff that's worked in other countries. It's working here. Good. Okay, let's keep doing this for a few more weeks, and then we'll talk in April if it's a good time to start kind of addressing new city. But like in a week's time, we're going to decide that 90,000 people need to come to Tampa Bay for, you know, a wrestling show. Like I don't know if that's happening, but
yeah,
this is really weird. And the thing is that we're going to talk about, I think we're going to spend more time, less so on WrestleMania, because it is what it is. WWE doesn't want to, you know, they're waiting for Tampa to say you can't run the show. And if Tampa's not going to say that you can't run the show, WWE is going to say, all right, well, we'll see what happens. You know, fuck it. We don't care. You know, Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit.
WWE would greatly prefer somebody else make that decision for them so that they can go on TV and not be the bad guy.
Yeah, and here's exactly what their quote was. So this is their statement to CBS Sports. Says, while we remain committed to hosting WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday, April 5th, we're putting together contingency plans in place in the event that it is canceled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. The health and safety of our fans, performers, and employees are our top priorities, and we are monitoring the situation closely with our partners and government officials in Tampa Bay. So yada yada. You don't have to care about anything. The line that you have to care about, or the half a line you have to care about, is in the event that it is canceled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. That's not saying that we are going to address the situation and come to a conclusion, right? That doesn't say we are gonna decide internally and externally with our partners. That they say point blank canceled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. So until Raymond James Stadium or Tampa Bay or Tampa or whatever says you can't run the show, I guess they're running it.
Or Florida or Trump.
Right. They're waiting they're waiting for the U.S. government, the state, the city, or Raymond James stadiums to say not here. And even if Raymond James said not here, I don't believe, you know what I mean? Like, they might find another plan to do this. So they're flat out saying there that they are not going to cancel it on their own. They need to be canceled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. That's all you need to know right there. This is a game of chicken right now.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And I'm dealing, I was dealing with this over the last few days at the shoot job as well, because I'm not going to get into all the details or whatnot, but we are supposed to go to a trade show. Actually, I think it's the same weekend as WrestleMania. And what happened was earlier this week, a bunch of 35 companies that are supposed to go there. And it's a huge trade. Like 150, 200 companies come from all across the world or whatever. Well, about 30 or 40 of the big wigs in the industry all pulled out of this conference. So our company, which cannot afford to just say, you know what, we'll eat this money, whatever, we're backing out or whatever, had to basically wait for this conference to say that they were going to not run. Well, the conference, looking at the, all their big, guys backing out or whatever, is looking at this going, okay, look, we can't afford to say, oh yeah, we cancel and refund everybody's, booth deposits or all that sort of stuff. So we were playing literally a week where our bosses were saying, look, we're not going to go, but don't say that we're not going to go. If people ask you if we're going, say we're going. Because we don't want them to know that we're not going. We want them to cancel so we can get our money back.
Right.
That's not unlike what's happening here, and we're going to talk about that for all of the WrestleMania weekend as well. Is the idea, people are really quick to say, oh, they should cancel, they should not do this, oh, they should, and it's easy for the NBA to say, yeah, we're going to cancel. The NBA is fine. The NBA will be okay. Mark Cuban isn't going to be in a breadline because the NBA canceled or suspended their season. MLB will be fine. These college conferences, they'll be fine. Game Changer Wrestling might not be fine. Just saying, you know what?
Right.
We rented out the Cuban Club for a week. We bought all these plane tickets. We got a wrestling license from the commission or whatever. But you know what? In the interest of our wrestlers and our fans or whatever, we're going to eat that X amount of money and be safe. When we get down to it, it's nice and easy, and it's really easy to go on the internet and say, oh, they should cancel. I can't believe they don't cancel. That's not your fucking bank. That's, it's not your, bank account that's going to be bled dry because of that.
Right.
It's real easy to say that sitting, sitting in the peanut gallery, say, oh, I can't believe they're still going to run the show. That's unbelievable. They shouldn't run the show. Well, yeah, they don't want to be out $50,000. These guys can't afford losing $50,000. Big Japan Pro Wrestling cannot, we look, point blank, look at what's going on in Japan right now. I keep telling people when they say, well, why isn't this indie closing? Why isn't this indie doing this? I said, look at Big Japan in Japan. The reason they're running while all these other companies aren't running is because they literally cannot afford to not run.
Yep. It's
not because they don't care. It's not because they're like, fuck it, we don't think this thing belongs. They're saying, look, we can stop running, but we're going to stop running forever. That we can't. We need this money. We need to run.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is a top-down issue right now with Tampa not stepping up and saying, you know what? No, none of these events are going to happen in our city. WrestleMania is canceled. And because the second that they canceled WrestleMania, and I know you touched about this a little bit on patreon.com/voices of wrestling, by the way, in your news update, is that the second Tampa says, okay, WrestleMania can't run, all these other guys are ready to say, okay, well, Tampa said we can't run, so we can't run.
Yeah.
But Tampa didn't say that, and WWE hasn't said it.
No.
So now we're in this weird situation, if you're Brett Lauderdale, what the fuck do you do?
Right. And I agree. I mean, people really need to lay off the collective, WrestleCon, and WWN. Lay off for a minute. I mean, can we give this a chance to breathe? I mean, it's like you said, this is not the same scenario as the NBA or the NHL where they will survive. Give this a chance to breathe and let these scenarios play out. I mean, can I read you the tweet, the Alex Jabali tweet?
Absolutely. Oh, that was incredible. Yeah, I think he sums it up perfectly for anybody. And he's wrestling adjacent, so it's a good opportunity to bring him up. So former write up in the the New Japan ebook, by the way, as well.
Yeah. So Alex Jabali had this to say because he's got one of his CEO events in Orlando. Anyway, I'll just read the tweet. Transparent mention. I cannot cancel this event unless the city or hotel asks me to, enacting force majeure. I don't know if I'm pronouncing force majeure correctly.
I'm not good at my French, but I think majeure or something like that. But I think you're on the right path there. So.
Okay, and then he says, Google it if you don't know what that is. And he says, everything in Orlando is open for business. No confirmed cases. Disney is open. If I cancel by my own choice, instant bankruptcy. Please understand my situation. Okay. Now, since then, Disney has closed. Since he sent that tweet.
I was gonna see if Orlando has done anything big picture wise, but I think they just said that Universal and Disney are closing, but Orlando didn't say they were doing that.
The more important point, though, what you're saying, he can't just pack up and cancel this thing, even if he wants to, which it sounds like he wants to. He probably would prefer to cancel this event, but then his words: instant bankruptcy. You sink all of that money into the event, and then you don't get any return, you're done. His events are done. He's done personally. You're fucked. So what? He's left holding the bag until Orlando or the hotel kick him out. Then he could recoup. He's telling you that straight up. So you don't think some of these promoters in Tampa are under the same circumstances or similar circumstances? That's why you need the layoff.
Right.
Get off of Twitter. Stop trying to score likes on Twitter by, being Mr. fucking I care about people. You need to cancel. They may want to cancel. Give this a chance to play out. At the end of the day, who you need to be getting on is Tampa. Is Tampa?
Yeah.
Or Florida or WWE. WWE can take the hit. Vince McMahon can say right now, I'm postponing WrestleMania to a later date. And there's plenty of football stadiums who will take him in June. Believe me, he'll be fine. He's going to draw his 60,000 people somewhere, sometime, if he wants to. Get on them. Don't get on the collective because who are you to demand that they can? What's the difference whether they cancel it today or wait a week when there's some more clarity and when they can recoup possibly some of their money? What's the difference? Now, if they run and you feel like they're putting people in danger, and a month from now, there's 150,000 cases of this thing in America and they're running anyway, and some of these dopes actually go and they're putting people in danger, and you want to bury them under the earth. Don't bury them today. That's not fair. Because you don't know what they're thinking now. And this is very stressful for them and everybody else. And this all just happened. This is all fresh. It's all new. And these are very hard decisions to make. So just give it a little time. It's not one person is going to get infected. They make the decision today versus a week from today. So just, give them time to work it out what to do here. So I completely agree. Some people are being very unfair.
So a really good tweet came out as we were kind of recording this from Christy. I believe it's Schaefer is how you pronounce her last name, but I don't know exactly what that is. And it's she's talking about the WrestleCon situation. So she's married to Michael, who owns WrestleCon. So I thought this is another really good telling one as well. So unfortunately, these people have had to kind of do this stuff that like normal people would know. You know what I mean? Like I see as we're recording this right now, Brett Lauderdale's kind of like, hey, I don't have that insurance that you guys all say that I should have. Like, yeah. I'm Brett Lauderdale. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have fucking $15,000 insurance, you idiots. Like, I see him tweeting this right now, and I kind of want to tell him, like, I understand, dude. I get it. But he's not tweeting at us. He's kind of telling, people that they're like, well, you should have. No, I don't have that. I'm running.
Here's what he said. Here, I'll just read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, find me an insurance policy that covers acts of God, and then find one that is willing to back it up right now.
Right.
Airbnbs aren't exactly covered in the extraordinary circumstances policy. They're in a rock and a hard place here. So what harm does it do for him to wait it out? Because again, this is the great unknown. There's a slim chance, but maybe in 24 days they do flatten the curve. Maybe some of these restrictions are lifted in some of these places. Maybe it's a little bit safer to do these things, and maybe it's not the end of the world if they run, or maybe it's still super dangerous and they do cancel. And, maybe, it's like, what's the difference whether he cancels now or cancels in 2 weeks? If you buy a ticket at this point, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah, I heard that thing. The argument's like, oh, well, they're still trying to, sell tickets. Well, yeah, you're an idiot if you buy a ticket right now. Like, what are you doing?
If you buy a ticket right now, that's on you. You're right, the world's dumbest person.
You're a fucking moron. Yeah, I'm not going to feel bad for you.
So, and I'm sure that if they do cancel, they'll take care of everybody. If they don't, again, let's all bury them under the earth. I'm all for it. But let's cross these bridges when we get to them. And let's have a little empathy for the situation that these people are. Who could have foreseen this? And he's telling you straight up that his insurance doesn't cover it.
Right. And we've heard from people that work in bigger companies than Brett Lauderdale's Collective /GCW that says that we're getting screwed and this thing isn't being covered, by our insurance. And these are people that can take the hit. These people can take the hit. Brett Lauderdale probably can't take this hit.
What's the best way I can? Okay. This is what we were told by another wrestling promoter.
Yeah, that makes more money and has more money than Brett Lauderdale does.
He can handle the hit more than anyone we've mentioned on this entire podcast, including Vince McMahon. And what this promoter had to say was, business interruption insurance isn't covering the pandemic. Everyone is getting screwed. End quote. There you go. So, no one's getting covered here. So can you blame them for waiting it out and not making the rash decision today? Listen, these basketball conference, these NCAA, these basketball conferences, they were playing games today. They had to make a decision today. These sports leagues had games scheduled today. Their hands were forced. They had to make a decision today. These shows aren't for another 24 days. So, again, it's not harming anyone to sleep on it, let it play out, and see what happens. Because you have 24 days to cancel. To me, the onus here is on Tampa and it's on WWE. Because whatever those two decide is really going to drive the decision-making for everybody else. I mean, the city of Tampa could end this real fast and just kick everybody out.
Right. I'm shocked that they didn't today. I mean, we've seen so many other cities do this. I have local municipalities by me that are doing this, even though they really don't have to. But like everyone's kind of getting out ahead of this and just saying, okay, look, like Tampa looks like they're the only one that are like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. You guys figure it out. And it's like, what? No. What? Hold on. That's for you to figure out. But they've decided to buck the, said, and we talked about this, and you tweeted out earlier in the day too. We all, when the notes were made for the show, I made the notes with, okay, Tampa's going to tell WrestleMania you can't run, and now what are the indies going to do? Are they going to decide, okay, with WrestleMania not running, is it still worth it for us to run? Are we still considered a large gathering if we only have 200 people or whatever? Should we still run because we have our... And now it's even like, those notes are... I wiped those notes out because I was like, I cannot believe that Tampa's saying, you know what, WrestleMania? Figure it out in a week. I don't know, whatever. So it's left these indies with not only the scenario that I laid out of like, all right, WrestleMania is not running, but do we still run? Can we still get under the not large gathering? But the idea that like, oh, you're not going to help us out at all. You're not going to give us any sort of lifeboat. It's all up to us now to do this. It's all up to us to cancel.
Well, Rich, it's just like your boss and Alex Jabali. It's advantageous to wait around and see if the venue kicks you out so you get your money back.
Right.
And look, you're not getting that plane ticket money back. You're not getting any of that back in all likelihood. They put out all this money for for travel, and who knows with the hotels, maybe you can recoup some of that.
Well, merch
but
is
not
a big
if
thing
you
too.
cancel. That's the key here.
People forget about this too with wrestling. Like you got tons of like specific merch for that weekend, area specific merch. I mean, God, how many random collective shirts are out there? You know what I mean? That are touting these shows or whatnot. And yeah, like you said, you're not getting any of that stuff back.
You're not getting any of that back. But if you wait for these venues to kick you out, you could recoup some of it at least. So why should they be in a hurry to cancel?
Right.
It'd be bad business to come out and cancel. Yeah, why? So they can get your Twitter like? and you can pat them on the back. This is business. And they're not hurting anybody right now by not canceling. That's the other thing I don't understand. What are they hurting right now? What is WrestleCon hurting by not canceling right now? Because again, if your ticket was bought, I mean, that's not going to change anything. And if they cancel 2 weeks from now, you're still going to get your money back. And if you're buying a ticket since yesterday, you're a complete idiot. So I don't understand who it hurts that they're not canceling. Why do we need them to cancel right this second? That no one can answer for me. I don't understand.
Let me read this tweet from Christy. I forget. I'm sorry if I get her name wrong, but I believe it's Schaefer is the last name. But again, I'm sorry if I get it wrong. But it's a long tweet, but I think it's a very insightful tweet as well. So she says, "My name is Christy. If you've attended WrestleCon before, you've likely met me at the door. If you're new, you've probably seen me on Twitter. I'm a college professor. WrestleCon is my side hustle. I'm married to Michael. He owns WrestleCon. He started a company in his college dorm room over 20 years ago, and that company and its small staff run WrestleCon each year. We live in Charlotte with our 3 dogs. We are regular people who work hard every day to bring you WrestleCon each year." By the way, the idea that she has to do this is absurd, but here we are anyway. Yeah. It's sad that this lady has to say, "Hi, I'm a normal human being. I don't make millions of dollars on WrestleCon, and my husband owns it." But anyway, the fact that she has to do this is ridiculous. But anyway, I guess I appreciate that she is doing it. But yeah, for the people that need this, I really, whatever. Michael is the hardest working person I've ever met. Most days I feel like I'm married to a wrestling convention. Whether it's booking talent, promoting shows, creating new aspects of the event, designing logos, you name it, Michael is thinking about it 16 to 18 hours a day. I mentioned we are small. There are about 8 of us who work in some capacity throughout the year to bring WrestleCon to the fans. Those 8 people also bust their asses day in and day out. Those 8 people are also frustrated, emotionally exhausted, and overwhelmed by their current situation regarding the coronavirus. I'm writing this because I want you to understand a little bit more about our company. We do the best we can each year, and I am so damn proud of the event Michael created. We've gained your trust along the way, and that means the world to us. We have no intention of breaking that trust. You have so many choices for Mania weekend, and you choose to spend your money with us. We don't take that lightly. As I said, this is a little bit long, but here's where I think stuff gets really insightful. We don't have enough information right now to make a decision. We know you have questions. I wish we had answers. Me and Michael spent hours last night talking through various scenarios. Not in a big corporate office, but at our kitchen table. We're using the information we have and attempting to make the best decision we can. We just don't have one yet. WrestleCon takes a full year of planning before things get crazy. Before things got crazy last week, and we were already working on LA. We've signed venue contracts in LA. This is a large-scale event run by a small group of people. We can't easily just say, let's reschedule it and we will postpone it. It's just not that simple. There are a lot of things right now that we don't know, but there is one thing I know for sure. We will do right by our customers. I don't know what that means exactly, but we are honest, hardworking people. We know you are too. We will not keep your money if it's owed back to you. We will refund those who can't travel. We will address all those things. We just can't address them today, and probably not tomorrow. We need a little bit more time to sort this through. I'm writing this from my couch. Michael will be home from work soon. We will eat a quick dinner and get back to work. Lots more to discuss at the kitchen table tonight. You know what we do. You will know what we know as soon as we know. Thanks. That's from Christy.
I mean, come on. What a tremendous, whatever that is. Facebook post. What is that?
It's a Twitter post, but yeah, a multi-image Twitter post there that she put on the notes app.
I mean, geez, if that doesn't get you to back off, if you're one of these barking dogs, I don't know what will. I mean, geez, give them a chance to figure something out here, please. All these people want to do is lose a little less money at this point. They're all going to take a bath. Because Rich, none of these matches are going to happen. If you're asking me today,
oh God,
I don't think that.
No, nothing's going to run that weekend. Somebody will make the decision, and nothing's going to run.
Yeah, to me, there's not going to be a single wrestling match in Tampa WrestleMania weekend, and so these people are they're looking for a way to just lose a little bit of less money. I mean, it's and these are small. Again, these are small time operations, and just give it some time. And it's pretty frustrating to see some of the stuff, and if you have tickets, I get it, but I'm sure that we're
all being put. Everything is weird right now. Nobody's happy with what's going on right now. Nobody.
Yeah, and again, this is the weirdest. This is the weirdest 48 hours. It really is. That's a big point I made behind the paywall, but. It's not, things aren't going to feel normal for another day or two If you remember 9/11, it was the same way. I'm not comparing the two things, but it's a similar kind of feeling when you get up in the morning.
You're just wondering when
normal.
things are going to get back to normal. I remember the night, for people that weren't alive during 9/11, it wasn't. There was the shock of what was going on, but then there was also the shock of like, okay, when, tomorrow when I wake up, what's it going to feel like? The next day, when's it going to, like, you were wondering how long is it going to take until things are back to normal? Like, will things ever go back to normal? There was that idea too, like, okay, things will never go back to normal after this. And you might argue that things maybe haven't gone back to normal, but it was, okay, everything stopped. Every newscast was about one thing. There were no sports. There was no this. There was no that. It was just like, okay, when will I be able to turn on my TV and just be able to watch? I'm not trying to say that like it shouldn't have happened that way, but there's this idea that you have in your head of like, okay, when does this all stop? And when does like we go back to work? When do we go back to talking about sport? Like when do we go back to normalcy? Or do we ever go back to it? It's that weird thing too, where you have to think in your head, like, is this now what it's always going to be? That's I remember because I was like, God, what was I? I was 13 or 14, I think, when 9/11 happened, and I didn't really quite comprehend it as much. So I had that idea as well of like, okay, well, is this kind of our new normal now? Is this just what my life is now? Whatever this thing is.
Yeah, it's a situation where there's they hit the pause button on society. That's what we're in right this second. There's a pause button on society, and it's weird because you're still going to work in the morning and doing these things, but something's off. And it would be different if these events were happening tomorrow, or it would be different if these events were happening today. But there is no harm in these people waiting it out to take the best course of action in a patient and well thought out way. Don't worry about your $50 WrestleCon ticket. They'll give you your money back if they cancel. She flat out said she'll give you your money back if you can't travel.
Right. And
worry about that later.
Right. And not to bring my like shoot job into this again, but there was a thing where what we were doing is we were calling, because a lot of people come and like they meet us at the event or whatever, and they come because we're there. So we made a call to a lot of those people that come from overseas and just said, hey, look, I don't know if you're still trying to come, but just to let you know, we don't, you can cancel your stuff. We can't officially say that we're canceling yet, but like, don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Don't, you know what I mean? Like as a make good, like we didn't want these people to think that we were still going to the event, but we couldn't tell the company that we were still going to the event. And that's kind of what we're at in this weird thing again, where, we're not a big company either. I'll say Life Fitness is a huge fitness company. They just ate the fucking cost and said, we don't give a shit. Whatever. Cool. They can do that. My company cannot do that.
And I also think today's conversation is different than a hypothetical conversation where Tampa says, all clear, we're good here. If you guys want to run WrestleMania and run all these events, that's fine. And then WWE decides they're a full go. And then some of these indie groups decide that they're going to stick with it and it's a full go. I think then we could have a different conversation of, okay, is it smart to go if you have a ticket? Is it irresponsible of Tampa to be letting these people come? Is it irresponsible of WWE to be running WrestleMania? Is it irresponsible of the Collective and WrestleCon and WWN Live to be holding their events? I think we have that conversation if that's the scenario that plays out. I don't think that's the conversation we have today. I think that these are two drastically different conversations. I just don't think they're the same. Because again, I don't know if they genuinely look, I'm sure to them what they want to have play out is this thing gets much better very quickly and it's reasonably safe to hold these events, and they lose as little money as possible and they're able to run. But I think that's pie in the sky at this point when you see Major League Baseball backing up the start of their regular season and the NBA could be done for good. And so I think that might be a little pie in the sky to hope for that. But I don't think it does them any harm to wait out another week or two to see if that plays out.
Well, and the other thing too is like they literally, I mean, what scenario do you want? Do you want them to eat this money and go out of business? Because they could do that. You know what I mean? Like
But hey, listen, they'll get your Twitter like though.
Right, exactly. Oh, hey, we're going to cancel a WrestleMania event, but now we're never running an event ever again, and now I'm $80,000 in debt because I couldn't get any money back on the weekend. And again, like, this is so ironic given that like last year everybody got so mad at us for so, you want to put these companies out of business and all this sort of stuff, and all the same people that are saying that are you have to cancel, no, realize, idiot, that you'd be putting them out of business by telling them to do that.
Yeah.
Where do you guys think these indie wrestling money is? Have you guys been to an indie show? Have you talked to an indie wrestler? Have you talked to an indie promoter? Like, where do you think this money's coming from?
I mean,
what are you doing? Think for a second. These guys rented an entire venue for a week. That's not free. Like,
I've seen many lonely walks to an ATM at the end of the show.
I've seen the drive. I've heard of you've heard all the stories of the promoter going, I'll be right like get the fuck out of there as quickly as you could. Jump in the car.
I appreciate the cartoons.
Yeah, thank you.
Sound effects. I like that. That was very nicely done.
But everyone's got it. You talk to any wrestler ever, and they have the story of the promoter that, 1 sec, I'll be right back with the checks and or the cash, and then they're gone. They're fucking, or you said there's nothing like the promoter making he's scratching the back of his head and looking at his phone, wondering how do I tell my wife that? Like, you know what I mean?
Making that withdrawal out of the ATM.
Right.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
They put the card in. You know how it asks for checking or savings. They have to hit the savings button. Like,
is there anything more painful than slapping that savings button?
Never. You're like, oh,
it's the worst, isn't it? It's like, I can't believe I have to do it. I mean, we've all been there, not for running an indie shows, but
God no, yeah, because that's what I don't want that to happen to me. That's why we never run an indie show. But yeah, that idea of the two scenarios come up, and you got to hit that bottom button for the savings. Yeah. Do you want to balance? No, I don't. Just let me do this.
You know what it was for me? It was when I was gambling. Yeah, it was this. I lived at the time. I lived near my bank to where I could walk, so I would always make that painful walk to the bank on Monday morning before I met up with my guy on the corner, And you make that withdrawal, and you ask for the envelope. Right? You ask for the envelope. Yeah, can I have the envelope? Can I have a little white envelope? And then you don't even want to look at it, And then I'd meet up with my guy and just hand him the envelope. No eye contact. Very depressing. And that's why you stop gambling, But indie wrestling, it's a gamble. And a lot of times it's a gamble where they know they're going to lose. And WrestleMania weekend is where a lot of these guys would make all their money that would carry them through the year.
Yeah, 11 months worth of money is sometimes made on WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, it carries them through the year, the money they make here. And, a lot of the promoters that are running underneath the umbrellas of these bigger promoters like the Collective and WrestleCon and WWN and all that, and you have these, these promoters running shows under those umbrellas. I mean, at this point, they're at the mercy of these umbrellas, and the guy to just cancel their individual show and get heat, and it's like they're in a tough spot too. What do they do? Because if they decide, fuck it, I'm canceling, and they set off a domino effect, and plus they're going to piss the talent off. I talked to one promoter today, and he's like, it's not even about getting heat with the other promoters. It's about getting heat with the talent. Right. Because a lot of this talent still wants to go and still wants to work because it's their most profitable weekend. And it's like, and he's like, I don't want to be the one to cancel because I don't want to piss off. The exact words were, I don't want to piss off the few remaining draws left on the scene. So there you go, right there too. That's another factor. So, there's a whole host of things to think about, and it's just, I just wish people would be a little more patient with the little guys. And the further down the chain you go, the smaller those guys get. And if eventually some of these guys make bad decisions, you don't think Rich and I will come on here and bury them under the earth? I mean, come on. You've listened to this show long enough. I don't think today's the day for that. That's all. No, in a few weeks, if this shit's still running, we're going to bury them for their shit shows and call them out for their terrible booking. Hey, listen, two separate issues, my man. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, though, we're going to do that. Like, we'll do that show. If none of these shows cancel, the Collective, which we just said, hey, you assholes, don't put the Collective out of business, we're about to say, hey, the Collective fucking sucks and these shows stink. Yeah, don't go. You know what I'm saying? But seriously though, like, that to me, it's like it but that's like two drastically different conversations.
Right.
It's like that's critical. That's critique. And that's one thing. Don't you think I want all these shows to happen? That's going to be our most listened to show of the year, especially after last year.
Yeah, our entire site. I mean, my God, this site especially, we do so much coverage of WrestleMania weekend in terms of previews, podcasts. Like, I have that lined up, ready to go. And I thought after today, hey guys, after today, we're not going to do the preview podcast. We're not going to do the written previews. I don't know what the fuck to do right now. It's like we're still in this like holding pattern. But we do the schedule on the site where we are if you search WrestleMania weekend, our site comes up first, thanks to the hard work of Ricardo Gallegos. That gets all those cards up there and gets everything up there, and make sure that people have an actual place to find the cards for WrestleMania weekend. Like, for all these fucking dopes last year that were saying, oh, you guys want this shit to go out of business. Nobody wants WrestleMania weekend to be more successful than you and I do.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, and this year's preview show was going to be our most listened to show, especially after last year and all the controversy. Yeah. And of course, I've been gearing up all year to do it again. And have fun with it, just like we did last year, even though a lot of people didn't think it was very fun. We were just having fun with it. We were going to do it again and bury the shit we hated. And I've been looking at the cards, and I've had my fucking jokes lined up for weeks. Are you kidding me? I'm ready. And, I don't want to see that go away, please. So,
myself and Iron Mike Spears, we booked a better Ethan Page body guy show. And we've been chomping at the bit. Like, he for 2 months now, he's been saying, I can't wait to get on this podcast. And you and I could give because we have a whole better body guy show booked with actual body guys. And we can't wait. And I guess we're still gonna have to do that. But I want that. I want to do that so badly.
Yeah, none of these shows are happening though, let's face it.
No, they're not.
So I mean, I think at the end of the day there will be 0 matches at WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, and I think eventually
not to interrupt, but so far WXW canceled because they literally can't get into the country, so they're not going to come. So
yeah,
and then the Bullet Club Block Party has now officially been canceled as well. So
okay, so and again, that wasn't really a wrestling show; that was one of the sub events, but still, the rest. I mean, I think what will eventually happen is a government agency of some type is going to step in, whether the state of Florida says, because all of these states, they're dropping like dominoes. Can't have more than 100 people. Can't have more than 250. The numbers are different for each state, but I think eventually Florida will enact something like that because the states have the same peer pressure that these sports leagues do. You don't want to be the only state that's allowing large gatherings. At some point, you're going to fall in line and you're going to enact something as well. I think either the state of Florida will step in, or we'll see what happens tomorrow with Tampa. Maybe the constituents of this mayor are going to be annoyed that 80,000, 100,000 people from all over the world are coming into their little city that hasn't been affected yet. I mean, that's how you go from not being affected to affected, right? So I'm sure the people of Tampa aren't thrilled with that. So, that'll change things if the people of Tampa give some kickback. So, my gut tells me there won't be a single match. And I think that the independent promoters, once they can recoup just a little bit of their losses, because they're all going to lose something here. They're all going to lose their ass to some extent. But once they realize they could recoup something from the hotels, from the venues, whatever, once they're forced out, then I think they'll pull out and wave their hands. And I think that's what they're waiting for, I think. The more interesting scenario is if nobody ever tells them that, if Florida never puts restrictions, if Tampa continues to welcome everybody with open arms, which ones do you think will be crazy enough to run? Do you think Vince McMahon would have the balls to run this thing?
Honestly, yeah. I do.
So you don't think he will not postpone, delay, cancel on his own?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Under any circumstances.
I really don't. I mean, I think that press release that they sent out there a little bit earlier, about that we'll wait for a cancellation there. Honestly, I really don't. I really, really don't. And I don't know why exactly I feel that way. I probably shouldn't. But for whatever reason, it screams to me that Vince McMahon is the type of guy that would say that we need to push through and we need to go through and just do it anyway. And if nobody shows up, if we have 10,000 people show up, well, who cares? Whatever. We're going to do it anyway. I don't know why I feel that way about it. It's just, that seems like a Vince McMahon thing. That seems like the bravado that a Vince McMahon would have.
What if his boy, the Don, calls him up and says,
that would definitely change it. I think so. That would definitely change it. And I think it shouldn't be understated as well that Barrios and Wilson are not there anymore. Vince is on, whoever that dope, whatever that other fucking guy is that he put into this place or whatever. That guy's a nobody. No, that guy didn't talk he talked for 10 seconds on the fucking, or he talked for 10 minutes on the conference call. Like, that guy's not going to tell Vince McMahon anything. Vince McMahon is on it. Like, there is nobody more powerful in that company on any level whatsoever than Vince McMahon.
Canceled the XFL.
He did. But then again, like, here's the thing though. Oliver Luck, Lombard, there's other guys that we can mention along there that probably were
Blandino,
right, that have a little bit more. Yeah, Blandino's the guy, man. I don't know who fucking Michael Lombardo is. I think that maybe Lombardo's I think he's somebody in WWE, whatever. But like those sort of guys, they might be able to say, all right, now Vince, come on, we got to do this or whatever. I don't know that anyone's going to stop Vince, other than like you said, Donald giving him a call and saying you can't run the show, or Florida saying you literally can't run the show.
Is this another scenario where wrestling having its sleazy underbelly kind of reputation helps them in that they can kind of float under the radar here for a while?
Right. We're not sports. We're sort of entertainment.
Whereas if XFL, every other sports league under the sun, canceled their seasons, if they're the only one who hasn't, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Whereas wrestling, similar with the KSA deal, where you can kind of, they brought boxing over there and got an incredible amount of heat. Wrestling goes, nobody pays attention. So is this a scenario like that where Vince knows he could fly under the radar because it's just that silly wrestling that no one really pays attention
absolutely.
to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine if like the NBA fucking played a game in Saudi Arabia. We would never hear the end of it.
Never. And the other thing about it too is I don't think the common person on the street understands how big WrestleMania is. No. They have no clue. If because you hear it all the time. I don't have specific examples for you, or I have a specific example. Mike Francesa. Okay.
Oh, the Pope. Oh boy.
The sports Pope. Yeah. I remember a few years ago when WrestleMania was in New York, and one of his producers wanted to go. So he has, Francesa has had connections in New York for 30 years. So he was able to get this guy a ticket or a couple tickets to WrestleMania, right? And he was stunned to find out that this thing draws 80,000 fans, 70,000 fans, pumps as much money as it does into these local cities when it shows up. 100,000 people come and some of them don't even go to it. He couldn't believe it. And this is someone who is a major force in sports media in the biggest city in the world. And he didn't know the extent of how big WrestleMania was. So guy on the street people don't have a clue. I think they hear WrestleMania and they just laugh and they're like, WrestleMania, it's a crap on TV. They don't understand the magnitude of the event, what it does for these local economies, how many people it brings in. So that's another factor too. I think they're kind of flying under the radar here. They can get away with not making a decision and holding off. But here's the thing. If they make a decision that they're definitely running, I think at that point, the story will catch on. That holy shit, they're running an event where they're expected to draw 50 to 60,000 people in one bill. And I think at that point,
right. Well, I think it's going to become a story because it's going to become a story too because there's nothing else to talk. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing else to really touch on here, especially in the sports world. If everybody else is canceled,
everyone else is canceled. That's right.
Right. That's going to be they can't fly under the radar anymore. In 2 weeks when they say, hey, WrestleMania is happening and we expect 80,000 people to be there or whatever. And,
Yeah. And then a couple of these blue check marks pick up on it and look into it and say, holy shit, this thing's going to have 60,000 people in one building. And then at that point, I think it's going to become a story.
I agree.
Then you have a whole different kind of pressure. At that point, you have media pressure, not just pressuring Vince McMahon. He doesn't care about media, but pressuring Tampa, Florida, pressuring Trump to say, how can you allow this to go on? How can you allow 60,000 people from all over the world to congregate in this one area and then fly back to wherever the fuck they're from? Fucking Helena, Montana, or fucking Dublin, Ireland, or Mexico City, Mexico, or wherever the fuck. And after all being in contact with each other and then flying back, how can you allow that? I mean, that's what it's going to turn into, which is why I say at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to see a single match at WrestleMania. And I think that eventually the municipality or the state is going to kick everybody out. And we're going to be done with it. And all of these discussions are going to end up being moot.
All right. Anything else on coronavirus? I'm sure we'll have many more discussions about it over the next few days. But anything else that you had? I
mean, I don't want to talk about it, but it's affecting wrestling in a way in which we have to. I mean, it's impossible not to, and it's not going to go away, and it's going to continue to be a story. And, we're probably going to be doing fucking virus shit for, the next couple of months here, because first it's everybody cancels, and now we're waiting on WrestleMania to cancel. So that's going to be a story for a little while until we figure out what's going on in Tampa. And then even if things get better, that's going to be, everybody's slowly coming back. And now these guys are running. Now New Japan is back. Now AEW's working in front of fans again. Now, so this is not going to go. This is going to dominate not just the mainstream news cycle, but it's going to dominate our show probably for the rest of the year, if we're being realistic. I mean, and that's assuming it begins to get better. If all this shit gets worse, I mean, then forget it. So, it's unavoidable, but there is wrestling content to talk about. I mean, we were talking about this earlier today, but WWE is not stopping. I mean, they have television obligations to fulfill. They'll do it from the PC if necessary. They're doing SmackDown from the PC. AEW is not stopping. They're committed to doing a live Dynamite this week somewhere in Jacksonville. They're not running Rochester. They're not running New Jersey. The following week, Blood and Guts, same thing, is going to be done, privately in some building somewhere in a controlled setting. So those two promotions will continue running. Big Japan, I know it's been a running joke, but they continue to run. They're in the middle of their Strong Climb right now. I'm in the middle of watching the first Strong Climb show that made tape. So, I mean, they're still running. We can talk about them. CMLL. I mean, Mexico really hasn't been hit with the coronavirus yet, to the extent that some of these other countries have. So all those promotions are running. Game Changers running a show right this second as we record this. So a lot of indies have canceled, though. I had a whole list of them earlier today behind the paywall, but some have also said they're going to run. I mean, River City Wrestling in San Antonio, they've got a show April 18th, which they say they're not canceling. Evolve pushed their shows from this weekend into May. So they didn't cancel. They just postponed them until May. And I guess
MLW's, MLW's running this weekend as well. Not to interrupt there, but yeah, they're running this weekend in Mexico again. Like you said, another company going down to Mexico.
Yeah, so Mexico, it seems everybody's running because I think there's been like 2 or 3 cases or something in Mexico the last time I saw a chart earlier today. So it hasn't really hit Mexico yet. So, there are companies that are running. There's going to be wrestling to talk about. I don't think it's going to get to the point where, we're watching, 1991 WCW tapes just to have content, because the virus stuff is going to be there. And there's wrestling there. I mean, we have wrestling to talk about this week. I mean, we've got the Elimination Chamber. That's about all we have. But we have the Elimination Chamber.
Look, we might have to watch some 1991 WCW, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I mean, so I know Evolve today put out, I think, Evolve 146 for free on YouTube. I don't know if that's the show that they broadcast for free on Facebook or if it was the other. They ran 2 shows that weekend. I'm not sure which one that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think I think 145 was the one on Facebook, and 146 now is it popping up.
Great. Then, I mean, so that's, for a lot of people, that's another fresh show to watch. And it's new, and it's not even like, they're giving away their latest show. So, I mean, there's stuff out there, stuff like NXT UK and Impact. I mean, they've got shit in the can. Bad phrasing. ROH. I mean, they canceled their, the anniversary show, which we would have previewed, I guess. I believe that's canceled. But they've got couple more shows at least in the can, but I think they were going to tape in Las Vegas too, weren't they?
They were going to have a bunch of episodes there. So yeah, them canceling is that's going to really damage their TV for the next few weeks as well. So
yeah, I mean, you figure they've got a show this week for sure, and then they always have that one weird show the week after as well. They might have 1 or 2 weeks left of shows, and then I don't know what they're going to do after that, unless they can. Maybe they'll tape in an empty building somewhere, just to have TV. Look, I get doing empty building wrestling if you have television obligations. I understand that completely. What I don't get is doing empty building wrestling for any other reason. It's just stupid. For the reasons we talked about before. But so yeah, I mean, it's not like wrestling has been completely shut down. Which, again, I think it's because wrestling just flies under the radar and people don't take it seriously. Because literally everything else, Rich, is shut down. Broadway shut down today. I'm sure, these high school, I'm sure there's no high schools running sports at this point.
No. Because this weekend, my whole plan was I was going to go and watch a bunch of high school hoops. And my buddies, we actually go down the next weekend after to the Illinois state title. And the Illinois thing is cut. Indiana thing's cut, Wisconsin thing's cut. So they're done. They just completely canceled everything because they were the same way. They were going to have games. They were not have crowds, limited crowds. Then today they just say, you know what, fuck it, we're done with everything. So it's all done now.
So oddly, we're in better shape than a lot of people are. Cause I mean, we're never going to not have something to watch and discuss. I mean, we're just gonna have less of it. And I don't know, you just don't go 3 hours or you fucking do Hot Pocket reviews.
Yeah, well, maybe you talk a little 91 WCW if it comes to it. So we'll see.
Do some history stuff. But I don't know. We're going to review Elimination Chamber and get the fuck out of here this week.
That's what
there's nothing
do.
to talk about.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, Joe. Elimination Chamber, a show that happened literally 5 months ago, I believe, at this point. Like, can you imagine that this was only this is Sunday?
Yeah, it's like 4 days ago.
March 8th.
Yeah.
It may as well have been fucking last October. Like, I'm looking at this card, I'm like, oh, man. As you're talking there, I'm looking and because we always talk about one of the struggles is takes. You got to have a take on every single match. I'm going through this card, I'm like, man, I don't even remember this. My brain has been so fried with other stuff, other news, things happening that I'm like, oh my God, Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo. I don't remember anything about that match. So this might be a terrible review. I apologize. I think you can understand that, 4 days in this week has felt literally 7 years. So,
well, listen, we're going to get Rich to watch a little Strong Climb this week, and we're going to do some Big Japan next
you know
week.
what?
I
Hey,
think there's no
why
other
not?
way around it. What
Yeah.
the fuck else are we supposed to talk about? Hey, we used to talk about Big Japan.
Absolutely.
It's not like we completely ever hand waved it. It just doesn't make its way into the rotation much anymore, But it's kind of look. It's Strong Climb at least, right? It's not like random shitty fucking house shows. So, at least it's a tournament with presumably, some of the best matches they're going to have all year. I think there's a 0-1 show making tape this week too. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, huh?
Can we please talk
It doesn't
91
look that
WCW?
Did you see the lineup? It doesn't look that bad, the 0-1 show. We're going to get Rich to watch Big Japan and 0-1. Don't tell me you don't have the time either. Because
I got the time. No, I got nothing to do. So that's for sure.
It was really sinking in for me because we're sports fans. And Rich, there is
Joe, I have nothing
else
to
to
do.
do.
I have nothing to do. I basically got a bunch of video games together that I'm like, all right, look, I'm going to get through these video games. I do have books. I don't want to read the books, but I'm going to maybe have to read the books. It's dire, man. You don't realize, it's like when your power goes out and you realize oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah.
You never really realize how dependent you are, or your internet goes out and you're like, oh, that's fine. I'll do. Right. That's the internet. I forget. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The internet goes, I'm like, you know what? I'll just watch Netflix. Oh yeah. Can't do that. All right. I'll just watch it. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So now what do I do? So that's where I'm at now, where I'm like, there's not, that's not on either. What's
Nothing
SportsCenter gonna, I watched SportsCenter last night. It's just Scott Van Pelt sitting at a desk being like, I don't know. What the hell do we talk about?
It's just Corona coverage 24/7. And how much of that can you listen to? How many times can I listen to them, telling us why Mark Emmert canceled the NCAA tournament? I can't, and you're right. There's nothing worse than every time my power goes out about 18 minutes into the power being out, I have a knife in my hand and I'm going crazy and I'm ready to kill anyone who comes to the door. It feels like society is crumbling every time the power goes out. And you're like, when's the power coming back?
Right.
Then the power comes
How
back
do I
on.
eat? What do I eat? What do I
Yeah,
watch? What do I do?
I can't. This is a battle for survival. And then your power comes back on, and it felt like it was like for 3 days, and you realize it was like 42 minutes. And you're like, I don't even know what I would do in a terrible scenario where people have tornadoes or earthquakes, and they don't have power for weeks or months. I couldn't even imagine. I lose my power for a half hour, and I'm a giant fucking baby, and I don't know what to do with myself. I couldn't even imagine it. But yeah, you're exactly right. I do not know what to do with myself without sports, because even just as background noise, and it's just not there.
Yeah, you're a guy who puts on the games type of guy. Like, you'll watch because there are some people that only watch their teams. I'm only going to watch the White Sox or whatever. I have a bunch of friends that are like that, where I will put on MLB Network, and if it's the fucking Oakland Athletics versus the Padres, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm watching it because, I'm an idiot. I'll just watch anything. Basketball, I'll throw on NBA TV, and it's the fucking Pelicans versus the Blazers. Good enough for me. Great. It's on, and I don't care. You're the way with college basketball. You're like, all right, sweet. Winthrop versus, Quinnipiac or whatever the fuck it is. All right, cool, whatever. Let's do it.
I just got to have a game on. There's got to be a ball game on. Today, I had the golf on because the golf had not canceled.
They canceled too. Did you see that?
They just canceled about 10 minutes ago.
Now what are you going to do?
The PGA Tour was going to keep running with no fans, and they played the first round of a tournament today, and I watched it because it was sports. I have to have sports on. Right. And I don't really mind golf. I'm not a golf fan, but I don't mind it. I can watch it. I know some people are like, I can't even watch it. I don't mind the golf.
Fine. Yeah, it's the last. Yeah. It is. Every other sport has been canceled. Okay, what else is on? Golf.
Exactly. Yeah. It's my last option. Or if it's like the Masters or something.
Yeah. You need to watch the Masters.
I'll turn that on. I'll turn on Sunday at 4:00 and watch the last 5 holes. You know what I mean? I can get into that. But, and I'm like, at least we'll have the golf. No. They just canceled too. So the golf was canceled through early April. But yeah, I had that on today. Good example. I don't know what to do with myself without the sports. It's crazy. So Rich, you absolutely will have the time for 0-1 in Big Japan.
Sure.
I mean, really, the only thing stopping you from watching that stuff was time. I mean, you don't mind.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. If I had the time, I would absolutely watch 0-1. I used to watch 0-1 a lot, back in the day. But yeah, it's time.
Something got to get cut. I don't blame you. Who the fuck it's like we all make those decisions, but anyway, tonight is Elimination Chamber. Yeah. So,
did you watch the pre-show, Joe? Did you watch the Viking Raiders defeating Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder?
I didn't. Did you watch the pre-show?
I absolutely did.
This is a fantastic review. We're off to a great start.
Okay, here. I'm excited now. I'm excited. Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak.
Yeah, this
rocked.
ruled.
It rocked. It was so great. It is. The funny thing was watching as I watched it a day later after everybody else had watched it, and I'm going through the tweets and I'm going through these things, and I love that a talking point was how refreshing is it these guys just go in here and have a wrestling match. The very idea that two guys go to a wrestling match, Drew Gulak says, hey, I think I have your number, Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan says, I don't think you do. Let's find out in the ring. And Daniel Bryan proves that Drew Gulak did not have his number and beat him in the wrestling match. Why can't there be more of this?
I mean, there was even a little more to it than that. It was more, oh, no, well, I guess, yeah, it was basically Gulak for weeks had been pointing out the holes in Daniel Bryan's game. And Daniel Bryan said, well, you know all these holes, then you come wrestle me now if you think you can beat me. Yeah. So, and then they went out there and had a match. And Daniel Bryan won. And it
ruled. It ruled. This match was great. It was two guys having a fucking wrestling match. And they were working holds, and they were working holds interestingly. They were hitting each other a little bit. There was a little bit of high flying, but the crowd got into it because it was a fucking wrestling match, and they cared about who won the match. And Daniel Bryan won the match and proved that Drew Gulak, despite all the bravado, did not know all the holes in his game, and he won, and he beat him.
They won the crowd over by the end, which was interesting, because even though they were in Philly, the match wasn't over initially. This is Drew Gulak, and he hasn't been pushed in forever. And when he was pushed, it was on 205 Live that nobody watches. So but by the end of the match, they sucked the crowd in, and they had them reacting the way they wanted them to react at the times they wanted it. This is exactly what we were talking about before, where you have to have wrestling in front of a crowd, because this is a perfect example of it. You're working for the crowd. And they did, and they sucked him in, and there were head drops. How about that German that everybody's talking about?
Oh man, yeah, that was. I thought it was great because I don't fucking care.
See, I have a slightly different take on that spot. I don't think it was dangerous. If you look at it in slow motion, he kind of lands on his shoulder. It was like the essence of pro wrestling, something that looked super dangerous that really wasn't. I think it was just great work. But I understand why people get wound up because it looked dangerous and it was a guy with a history of head and neck issues. So I understand. But either way, like you're saying, though, either way, it's like, it still looked cool, even if it was dangerous. And it definitely added to the match. I thought the match was stiff. I thought there were the work was tremendous. And I went notebook on it. I went 4 flat.
Yep, same with me. That's exactly where it was. It's so interesting how reading the reactions and reading the tweets about how, oh, this is so different and unique and all sort of stuff. And I'm just like, I cannot believe that we've gotten to a point in 2020 where this is what's unique in pro wrestling. That two guys have a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Two guys have a wrestling match to determine who's the better guy. And one guy proving that the one guy who said he was better was in fact not better than him.
Right. You think you can beat me, prove it. And then
and this is like and this was the talking point of, wow, this is interesting. I can't believe the build to this match. Oh, this is so unique and different. Why is this unique and different? Why have we reached 2020?
Yeah,
because the rest of the show was not this way. Trust me, we'll talk about it. Everything else had Andrade Humberto, not necessarily, but we'll talk about that one. But everything else had so much other shit and so much other pomp and circumstance and bullshit and this and that and it all boiled down to this was so far and away the best match on the entire show.
Yeah,
and it was pro wrestling. It's what you and I like. If you need to know what I want out of pro wrestling in 2020, it's Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak.
And the thing is, if you do it at the top of the card with people who are over, there's no reason that can't work.
No, of course it would work.
But this is Drew Gulak, who isn't over, and they eventually won the crowd over. But it's like, if you do this with stars who are over, this absolutely can work. Even in WWE, this can work. But and look, I'm not saying we always have to say this, but it's like I don't want my pro wrestling to be rings. That's not what I'm saying. But there's no reason there can't be more. Look, WWE has a deep enough roster where they can do shit like this all the time, and it can be a regular part of their cards. But it isn't. It's like you're saying, it's such a rarity that people were blown away by it because they just don't do this anymore. Everything has to be overbooked and the way the rest of this card was basically, where they have a big enough and vast enough roster where they can serve all masters and they can do things like this regularly all throughout the card, not just on the opener of a pay-per-view. There's no reason their main event scene can't be this at times while still doing the stuff that they do at the top. But, we're screaming into a void, man. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Won't waste our time. We'll move on here. Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship. Andrade defeating Humberto to retain the title. I thought it was pretty good. Not great, but a solid enough match, I would say.
I feel like they should have better matches than they do. They go out there and have really good matches that never seem to get over the hump to being great matches. So I don't know what it is, whether it's just the way the matches are laid out, or they just don't have the right kind of chemistry to get to kick it into that next gear, or maybe I don't know what the reason is, but you could always expect a really solid match from these two. But I feel like they should have a great one by now. They should. Because they've wrestled enough to where...
Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, is like Andrade has great matches with other guys, and Humberto has great matches with other guys, too. But then these two together, it's just like, oh, all right. Like, what? It should be
So maybe
fantastic.
It's a chemistry thing, or maybe...
I don't know.
Yeah, so... But it's not like I don't like their matches. I just feel like we could be getting more out of when these two guys get together.
I agree. Yeah, I'm right with you on that one. So where'd you go rating-wise for that one? I went 3 1/4. So it's like still, like you said, a solid match, but you assume better when these two guys get out to the ring and you see the bell ring and these two guys in the ring, you're like, all right, let's go. And it's just, it never quite gets there.
Yeah, I don't think I rated it because, but I that's right about where I'd be. 3.25, somewhere in that range.
All right, so now we had an Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Miz and John Morrison retain their titles. They defeat the New Day, the Usos, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. So,
I mean,
I thought it fucking sucked.
this was okay. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. I don't know. I guess just as a car crash kind of thing, it was fine. I've seen much better car crashes though.
And I've seen I've seen 1,000 car crashes this year.
Yeah.
It's just 30 minutes of guys doing stuff, Yeah. And people say whatever they want about PWG and Ring of Honor and how, that's just guys. But at least the guys doing stuff, the crowd fucking enjoys it and the crowd likes it and the crowd wants it. There was some stuff that they popped for in this match, but for the most part, the crowd's sitting on their hands while a bunch of guys are doing shit.
Well, they popped for Otis, and then they eliminated them, in the middle port. Heavy Machinery, and specifically Otis. That was really he's the only person that was really over in the match. Outside of that, you're right. They didn't really react to much of anything that happened here. So yeah, you're right. That did hurt it.
And I guess you had the big spot with, Lindsay coming off the top of the chamber, as we said, the reason why Lucha House Party was in this match. But even that was done to such a degree where you couldn't, because all the guys are standing there in a big pile, and Lindsay, it takes them 10 extra seconds to fall, and you're just like, all right, here we just nothing felt organic about this match at all. It reminds me of what WWE ladder matches are right now, where you just watch it and you just know that all right, set the ladder up to go do this. Okay. I don't know what it is. I've just lost that connection between these matches. I don't care. I don't care what happens. I don't give a shit that these guys are jumping off the top of the chamber. They're jumping off the top of the pods. They're doing this. It's just guys doing stuff, man. And I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care that Kofi Kingston is doing a crossbody from the top of the pod. I don't fucking care. How could you care? Why do you care? They didn't give you a reason to care.
Hell yeah. Rich is on one tonight.
I just am. I don't. These matches, they're just guys doing stuff, man. I don't know. Some people like this stuff. I know. I get it, but it boggles my mind.
It's guys you don't care about doing stuff. That's the problem. If they gave you a reason to care about it, Rich. Here's the thing: does it matter who came away with the tag team titles at the end of the day here? And that's really what it comes down to. And even for the live crowd, the only thing they cared about was Otis. They didn't care about the titles or who came away with the titles. And eliminated Lucha House Party first, who were the team in the match that were there to do the crazy shit. And then they eliminated Otis, shortly thereafter. So then what you had were a bunch of wrestlers that aren't over wrestling for a title that nobody cares about, which adds up to what you just talked about. A bunch of guys just doing stuff. So it's hard to be invested. And it's why I say, while I can't call it a bad match, I can't really call it a good one either. I just sat on my couch and stared at my TV and was like, these guys are trying hard and there's a few cool spots here, but I can't say I like this because like you, I didn't care. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like it's not like the WWE universe really cared. Like you said, they popped for Otis, and Otis did a snake eyes.
They don't. No, listen. Yeah, they don't. The fans live, the WWE fans don't even care about it. So people like us who are even less invested, it's even a bigger problem. I mean, okay, look at Revolution. Look at the Dustin Rhodes Jake Hager match. Okay, let's use that as an example. Rich, you would not call that a great wrestling match, right?
No.
By any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It's a very average wrestling match, right? But you were invested in it because they got the story over before the pay-per-view. So, this chamber match was probably a better match than that. But you weren't invested in anyone at all. So you were completely disinterested in the chamber match. But the Jake Hager Dustin Rhodes match, which was a completely average match, held your attention and you were into it. It's just a matter of getting things over and getting people over. And that's what WWE completely fails at now. At the top of the card, let alone with these mid-carders. And the only reason Otis is over is because he's a goofy comedy act. It's not like people are emotionally invested in Otis. They just like laughing at him.
Right. At least they have something, though. I mean, like, it's, you know, you watch these matches and nobody makes any reaction. There was one point I wanted to timestamp it, but I forgot, where there's a New Day chant and there's like literally like 9 people going, New Day rocks, New Day rocks. And I'm like, oh my God, there's like 10 people. This arena's filled. There's 15,000 people in here and there's 9 people chanting New Day rocks.
Well, because there's an act that if put in the right position, people will care about.
Absolutely.
But they're in this match with 5 other teams for titles that no one cares about. So they weren't going to get a reaction on this night, except from their most ardent hardcore fans who were probably wearing New Day t-shirts and holding up their bootios. That's it. But it's impossible for anybody else to get into them when they're positioned this way. So, yeah, I mean, you nailed the problems with this match on the head. It's impossible to be invested in it. And it's an Elimination Chamber match. It should only be preserved for things that people are completely invested in. You know, for whatever reason, they didn't want to do a men's chamber, and they did a tag team chamber. Why? Are any of these teams like, was this a blow off to some year-long feud or something? No, it was just 6 random teams inside a chamber because it's that time of year when we do the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you get. You don't get anything memorable, and you get something that no one cares about.
Aleister Black and AJ Styles, they had a no disqualification match. It went 23 minutes and 15 seconds, all so The Undertaker could come out and beat up AJ Styles and have Aleister Black pin AJ Styles after that.
Why didn't they do this in 8 minutes?
I don't understand. I could not. For some reason, I didn't get spoiled on this. I had no idea The Undertaker came out. I had no idea the finish. I don't know. I don't know why because I was spoiled on just about everything else. I watched it like a day later, but for some reason, maybe I didn't see it or I didn't notice it, and I went, okay. I don't know how this match ends. I'm kind of interested, and it's going on and on and on and on. And then 15 minutes in, the fucking OC runs in, and I'm like, why didn't you guys run in 2 minutes in? It's a no disqualification match. Whatever. Only for this to end with The Undertaker coming out and why was 23 minutes of my life used on this?
This is an 8-minute match.
I'm never going to get to these 23 minutes again.
This is constant interference from the OC. They're like a pack of wolves. It's 3-on-1. The fans are disgusted at this. They can't take it anymore. The Undertaker bell dongs. He comes out. He saves the day. Black wins. You do the same exact finish you did here. You just do it in 8 minutes. Why is this 20-plus minutes of the OC just standing at ringside like they're a manager? It's no disqualification. There's no logic here. Why would they wait to interfere? You don't need to pick your spot. It's no DQ. None of this made sense, and it didn't need to be this long. You can do all of this in 8 minutes and tell a better story. God, this fucking sucked. And again, why are we supposed to care about AJ Styles versus Undertaker when Undertaker just kicks his ass every time?
He beats his ass every time.
So the story here is we're supposed to get into AJ Styles' revenge. He's the heel. Why would I care about AJ Styles getting revenge on the Undertaker?
Well,
and why would I buy for a second?
Joe, this week he called him Mark, and he mentioned Michelle McCool.
Oh, well, okay.
So does that change your tone?
Honestly, it does, because that's what else you're supposed to do. You can't – it's not plausible that, like, okay, the proper build here would be AJ – why am I doing this?
Don't even bother.
Why am I doing this?
I know what you're going to say, but don't even bother. Just don't.
I probably have the fucking zombie disease, and I'm sitting here trying to break down why the AJ Styles fucking build for The Undertaker is not being done properly.
Yeah, well, you have 5 more days to live. You have 5 more days to live, and there won't be oxygen for you when you go to the hospital. And
Exactly. I've got 3 rolls of toilet paper left in the house, but you want me to break down why this storyline is all fucking wrong, right? I'm gonna be wiping my ass with I'm gonna be hopping in the shower every time I take a shit just to clean the crack on my ass because all of you maniacs listening, for some reason, are hoarding the toilet paper, which I still don't understand.
I don't get the toilet paper thing either. I've been thinking about that, and I brought it up to a few people today as well, because there's like, I went to like Aldi, and there was like, oh, you can only buy 6 things of toilet paper at once, and they were all gone, and there was no toilet paper left, and I have a bunch of Facebook messages or Facebook posts or whatever where people show me the empty, toilet paper shelves, and I'm like, that's really the issue, is no toilet. Like if in the scenario that I ran out of toilet paper, I have a decent amount, so I'm not really worried about it because I'm a normal human being and I just buy a bunch all at once. But like if in the scenario I run out, it's not life or death. I'll figure it out. Like if I'm quarantined to the point where I can't leave the house, then I'll be honest, Joe, I don't really give a shit if there's a bunch of, dried shit in my crack. Like I'm just going to live with it, or I'll get a rag. I'll get a rag and wet it and fucking clean it off, or I'll jump in the goddamn shower. Like, I will survive without toilet paper, okay?
Yeah.
It's a nice luxury, but I don't need toilet paper.
Especially if you're quarantined.
If I don't have to leave the house, I'll be honest, Joe, I might not want. I'd just be like, you know what, fuck it, who cares? Like, who cares?
What's the problem with using a washcloth? If you're quarantined, you use the washcloth, and I know, look, it's gross to, like, then wash it out. I get it, but...
I'm not leaving the house. I'm quarantined. Like right.
Yeah, like having a couple dingleberries won't be the end of the world if you're not leaving the house anyway, right? And here's the other thing, like you just said, you can jump in the shower and just spread your cheeks and clean it all out if you really feel the need. I do that half the time anyway. You ever have one of those infinite wipes and it just, no matter how many times you wipe, you're still coming up around? And you're like, oh man, this is never, you know what? Fuck it, I'm getting in the shower.
Well, because at that point, you've wiped like 6 times and it's just a disaster area down there. You're like, oh my God, I must have smeared this shit everywhere. Like, this is bad.
Yeah. I've been eating too many Hot Pockets. My fucking fecal matter is a disaster. I can sit here and wipe and use half the fucking roll and still not be clean. Or I can just hop in the shower for 30 seconds and take care of this. So what's the difference otherwise? Why are they hoarding the toilet paper? I really don't get that one. I don't get. And it's extending to the baby wipes. People can't get the toilet paper, so they're buying the baby wipes, which is really fucked up, because can't we save that shit for the people with babies?
That's, actually, that's exactly what... That is exactly what the nurse said today. She bought an extra thing of baby wipes and said, I kind of thought about buying more, but then I realized, you know what? No, there's actual people that have babies that need those things. Because if those are out and you have a baby, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Because that baby doesn't want to have a bunch of shit. That baby's not going to be like me and be okay with a bunch of dingleberries, And their shit's not like mine.
They get rashes.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to get diaper rash.
One thing I've learned over the last 2 years is you got to clean those fucking areas real good, because they get all kinds of rashes and infections and everything else. And, it's a bad situation, and you've got these fucking people buying up all the baby wipes, and then people with babies can't get them. And a lot of times you're talking about infants, a 2-year-old or, a toddler who isn't quite potty trained yet. Yeah, you can stick their ass in the shower if you need to, but you can't do that with a 3-month-old.
Right? Dunk them into the sink.
Yeah, like you need the fucking baby, so that's kind of bullshit too. But, I'd like to wipe this fucking Black Styles match from existence. This was fucking horrendous. It was a waste of time. And this is the portion of the show where everything just felt super long for no reason whatsoever. The pay-per-view was 3 hours and 40 minutes long, not counting the pre-show. They could have shaved time off of all of this shit. This match should have been 6 minutes.
Then we had these Street Profits defeating Seth Rollins and Murphy to retain the Raw Tag Team titles. 18 minutes and 30 seconds.
For another match, and here's the problem with this one. Again, nobody cared. And the Street Profits are usually over. Okay? The problem here is the entire universe knew, not the WWE universe. Like I would never use that cornball term. When I say the entire world knew that you weren't going to get a finish here until Kevin Owens showed up.
Right.
So why would they react to anything?
It's the old Nitro thing. It's the old Nitro main event thing. That for people that weren't alive during the Monday Nitro era, it was a running joke that like any Nitro, the main events wouldn't get heated until, and you could see the crowd. The crowd would stand up and look towards the entranceway, like, okay, I'll wait till Hogan runs out, or I'll wait till Savage runs out. I'll wait till Nash, because you knew someone was going to run in, and then the actual thing was going to happen. So nobody gave a shit about any of the matches until that guy ran out, and that's how this one was. Nobody was sitting there with bated breath going, oh man, I wonder if Angelo Dawkins is going to pin Murphy on this, cross-body attempt. It was like, no, I know that nothing's going to happen until AOP or Kevin Owens get involved here.
Yep.
And that's how it was.
And sucked all the heat out of it. Yep, absolutely.
Great show, this Elimination Chamber. Oh, God. Oh, dear God. I can't believe this is the next match. Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro defeat Braun Strowman to win the Intercontinental Championship. Zayn was the one that pinned Strowman, so he is officially the Intercontinental Champion. And, Joe, when this match was over, I tweeted out that I hate wrestling. I hate wrestling.
Listen.
At least it was 8 minutes.
Listen.
I guess I can't be too upset. So.
This isn't the best wrestling podcast in the world for no reason. You come here for the hard hitting and quality analysis, the angles you can't get anywhere else. I didn't watch this. I stepped out of the room when I was watching the show.
Oh man.
I went to get something to eat or take a shit or whatever the fuck. And then it was over. And then I was like, do I go back and watch this? No, I don't think I really need to go back and watch this in my life. So I just didn't bother. So I don't have any takes because I didn't see it. So yeah, I don't have anything to add. Was it as horrendous as I'm picturing it to be, or was it?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as okay. I think you and I thought it was going to be even worse than it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the. Okay, so it wasn't.
Did they look like geeks? Did the three of them look like geeks? Is the bottom line.
So actually, no. In a weird way, Strowman looked like more of a geek. It's unbelievable.
But it's three men. How can he look like a geek? He should get beat by three men.
Right, but he was like, the way he was getting beat was like they were outsmarting him at every turn. It wasn't that all three of them were beating him up at the same time. It was like one guy would run in, the other guy would like hit him in the back and then run away or whatever. And then Braun would like run after that guy. And then another guy would come in and like do something. It was like Braun looked like just a big oaf the entire time.
Right.
You know, and then like the finish was basically that, or not the finish, but they set it up where like Zayn got under the ring. So Braun went to go, get Zayn from out under the ring. And as he's like laying down on the mat, like the other two guys come over and kick him and then get him out of there and then roll him into the ring. And then they get him up for a suplex. And then Sami Zayn comes in with the haluva kick and then he pins him. It was a clean finish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we thought it would be like Sammy has the tights or all three of them pin him at once, but like he just hit the haluva kick and beat him. It's actually the worst way possible to do this 3-on-1 match. Because these three were like, oh, well, they fucking beat this guy. Of course. Yeah, it was like, in a way it was logical because you're like, oh yeah, well, the three guys. But like the way that they did it made Strowman look. Don't watch it. It's so bad.
I hate this. I hate everything you're saying.
Too, is the whole time I'm watching it, I'm looking at the guys and I'm like, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, those two men a few years ago, WrestleMania weekend, have the match of WrestleMania weekend. Sami Zayn, one of my favorite matches of all time, his NXT, title win over Neville. I think I voted it match of the year that year. Cesaro, one of my favorite wrestlers, like, it's just these three. This is what they do now. So,
yeah.
Sami Zayn won. So, there you go. He's your Intercontinental Champion. So, oh, God. And then we had a match that I think people are going to be surprised. Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania 36. Shayna Baszler defeats Natalya, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan. I kind of like this match.
I liked it too.
There was some stuff I would change, but I liked it.
I liked it too. The only misstep I think they made was she was waiting around for people to enter the match for too long.
Way too long. And this is this company which like finagles the Royal Rumble times all the time and just brings people out whenever they wanted Shayna to sit in there for 4 minutes and wait for the next person to come out for some reason.
She doesn't have enough she's not over enough yet, and she doesn't have that presence yet to where she could fill that time by merely standing there and making menacing faces. Brock Lesnar can do that. There's other people on the roster who they've done that with in Royal Rumbles and things like that can get away with that. She's not there yet.
She could get away with it for like a minute. You know what I mean? Like she could have got it for a minute. But the problem is, and you felt the crowd. They were with it for like a minute, and then when it got past that minute, you can feel the crowd going, "That's going to go on a little bit longer than we thought." Okay, And then you feel the crowd going, oh, hold on a minute. You're going to make us wait 5 fucking minutes until someone comes out? And you can hear the crowd boo her, get quiet, and then start kind of having that. There's a different boo when they're booing, like, the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you heard that.
Yeah, the wait times by design were to amplify the heat in anticipation of Liv Morgan getting in and then Asuka getting in. But so that was the plan, and I don't think it was a bad plan. It just didn't work out because she's not over enough yet. So what it did is it killed the heat. Like, she would destroy people, and that crowd didn't react to anything in that match until Shayna came in and choked everybody out. They didn't give a fuck about Sarah Logan doing high cross bodies off the top of the pod, or Natalya, or any of these people. Ruby Riott. They didn't care about any of them. Shayna comes in and chokes those 3 geeks out. The crowd got into it. And then the crowd was like, oh, we need to pay attention because something special's happening here. But then it took so long for Liv to get into the ring. That the idea was to build anticipation, but the fans lost interest during those wait periods. So when Liv gets into the ring, and I thought the segment with Liv was awesome. God, did she kill Liv. Smashing her head into the glass.
A lot of credit to Liv Morgan on that, too. When that was happening, I went, holy shit. That girl had to say, you know what? Yeah, give me... Like, if and I don't... Like, because Shayna could have done that to anybody in the ring. But everybody else kind of... Somebody said something... I imagine if Liv... I don't know who it was, but somebody said, you know what? Fucking give it to me. Give me everything you got. Let's do it. And if that was Liv that said it, or... I can't imagine that somebody said, hey, Liv, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get your fucking ass kicked, and you better be fine with it. Because they would have done that the entire match. And there were some bumps that were pretty hard, but man, what she took. When it was over, I thought, Shayna, you look awesome, but my God, standing ovation for Liv Morgan to say, you know what, Shayna, fucking just destroy me. I'm cool with it.
And she destroyed her.
It looked great. It looked fantastic. Yeah,
Liv took a beating. Shayna looked like a beast throughout all of this, but that segment in particular was fantastic. And then again, it got the crowd back into it, but then they're waiting around for Asuka, and they lose the crowd again because they're waiting around for so long, you know? So it just was an idea that didn't work out. It would have been smarter to just have the people come in from the pod instantly, because they had Asuka and Baszler jaw-jacking at each other, but it didn't hold people's attention because Baszler simply isn't over enough. And
Asuka had to do the thing too, where she had to just sit in the pod and be like, I don't know, like just scream stuff in Japanese for 3 minutes. You could tell she was kind of like, I don't know, when is this thing gonna open? Like, let's go. I don't have anything else to say to her. And yeah, she's trying to say, oh, come at, like whatever she was saying, like, come at me, let's go. And that's well and good for like a minute, but like 3 minutes of Asuka saying, okay, let's go. It was just like, oh, what are we doing? Like, why is this happening?
Yeah. But to me, the match, other than that, was laid out perfectly, because the other 4 geeks do not matter.
No, kill them as quick as possible. Yeah, get them out of there.
They are mid-card fodder that isn't being pushed, and they are completely insignificant. They are there to die, and they did a good job dying. All that mattered was Shayna Asuka. Asuka was the only one who should have given her a sliver of resistance, but ultimately she should have been dominated as well, because you're trying to get someone over for WrestleMania. That's not Asuka this year. Maybe it'll be Asuka next year. Maybe it won't ever be Asuka again. I don't know. All I know is Asuka had the most credibility of any of the opponents and was the only one that should have been given a sliver of credibility. And she was. But ultimately, Shayna dominated her too, which still kind of means something in the eyes of the fans, dominating Asuka. Random mid-carder that no one cares about, it wouldn't have had the same effect. So I didn't have any problem with the match layout.
Nah.
I get it. There's Ruby Riott fans and all that, but it's not her time right now.
Yeah, give it up. I mean, come on. Sorry.
Maybe she'll be pushed. Maybe she'll be pushed another time. Maybe she'll be put. But right now, it's not her time, and it wouldn't have made sense for Shayna not to buzzsaw the rest of them.
Right.
You know, their role and purpose in that match was to get buzzsawed by Shayna, because you're trying to get Shayna over for WrestleMania, and they've struggled to get her over, and Meltzer reported that Vince has his doubts about Shayna, so they booked her strong in an effort to get her over. Maybe she won't get over. I don't know. We kill this company all the time for their booking. I've got to praise them when I think they did something well. And I think this was a good attempt as good of an attempt as you can have to get some, because she completely dominated the match. That's how you get people over.
Bro, I wish they would do more of this. I wish they would say, these 5 people we want to be our biggest stars, and we want these people. This is what they did. This is for 30 years is what they did, is said, okay, these collection of people, 5, 10, whatever, however many it is, these are people that we care about and we want to be over. And those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever people fucking beat everybody and beat them easily.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. But now they try, if Shayna goes in there and goes 50-50 with Ruby Riott for 6 minutes or whatever, then you've lost that. You've said, well, we're going to push everybody. We want everybody. That 50-50, everybody gets pushed, nobody gets pushed. Pick your people and say, these are the guys. And I will give them all the credit in the world, because they have, in the last few months, said Drew McIntyre, Shayna Baszler. Those 2 we care about right now, they're being pushed.
And I can't kill the way they've pushed either one of them.
Not at all.
I think they're doing a good job of both of them. And that doesn't mean that I think it'll work. I still have my doubts about Drew McIntyre. And the fans don't seem to be taking to Shayna Baszler either. Now, we know that like the Diva Stan corner of fandom is absolutely not taking to Shayna. They hate her. But the WWE fans at large don't seem to be taking to her either. They were at points in the match, but all the wait time killed it. So we'll see as we get closer to the WrestleMania that isn't even going to happen, whether they're able to get her over the hump. If you keep booking her like this, I think that eventually she'll get over. Because I do think she's charismatic enough and good enough, and she's different enough to where I think it'll take.
Right. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But at least try it. You know what I mean?
But at least, yeah, exactly. I can't kill. See, that'll be an instance where I can't kill the company for hurting a wrestler by not pushing them properly. That'll be a case where they gave it an honest try and it just didn't work. And that's going to happen sometimes. You know, the first attempt to get Hangman Page over did not work. And the company made mistakes in the way he was booked versus Kip Sabian and all that. See, that's a different scenario than if this doesn't work, because I think they're doing this right. You know, I don't know about the vampire bite, but
right.
This was certainly done right, because, you can't pin this one on the company the way you can pin the Hangman Page's match layout with Kip Sabian on AEW. Saying different scenarios, assuming Shayna doesn't get over, but maybe eventually she does get over. And if she doesn't, like you're saying, if she doesn't, she doesn't. Not everybody gets over. Sometimes pushes don't work. And it just is what it is.
But overall, I mean, like you said, it's a match that, like, I don't know, like, the work in it wasn't spectacular. I mean, there really wasn't too much going on until Shayna got in there. So it's one that I like. It's weird. Like, star ratings wise, like, I don't know, like 2.5, 3 is kind of where I'm at, because I don't think it was that good, but it was exactly what it needed to be. And when it was over, I enjoyed it, because it was Shayna getting in there, Shayna getting pushed, Shayna doing her thing, Liv taking an assault. Asuka's built up as being somewhat near Shayna Baszler's level, but not at Shayna Baszler's level. So Shayna beat her, and Shayna feels ready. So it's one of these things, like, match rating wise, it wasn't great, but like the story was perfect, and the booking was exactly what it needed to be as well. So it's one of these ones that I will rag on them for the last 30, 40 minutes or whatever. All the credit in the world on this. I think they did a great job with Shayna, and they did a great job booking this match as well.
Yeah, I liked it as a match more than you did. I'd go like 3.5 on it. Because I thought Shayna was just so vicious in the match, and I thought, Liv took a great beating, and they did work hard, to their credit, before Shayna got in there, even though none of it was over. And I did like the finishing segment with Asuka too. I thought it was a legitimately good match, on top of being well booked and fun to watch, and all of the things we already talked about. So I really liked it. I liked the opener on this show, and I liked the main event. I thought they were both really strong bookends, and Andrade Carrillo was okay, and the rest was just largely junk.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for us, right? Got any
that's it.
other wrestling?
I think we ended up going 3. I think we ended up going 3 hours anyway.
About 2:40. But real quickly, before we get out of here, let people know voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon. Some good stuff coming there over the next few days, and a lot of stuff to listen to already from this week. Like, you have covered the news. What is it? Monday What'd you do Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday news updates?
I did.
Or Sunday. There was like a Sunday in there too, wasn't there?
I did Wednesday and Thursday. I just did one today. And again, we're recording this on a Thursday. And I did one Wednesday morning, but really it was late Tuesday night, but technically it was Wednesday morning. So I've been doing the news updates, the news roundups, if you want to get technical, more often. I try to do them 2 to 3 times a week. I did one Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. So, and I'll probably do another one tonight in the wee hours of the morning. So that'll be a Friday because there's just so much going on and everything keeps changing. So I'll probably do another one too. So the news roundups, try to do 2 or 3 a week. Thursday TV reviews every week with the ratings breakdown and then breaking down Dynamite and NXT. New Jovember to remember that I keep teasing. It's not like an intentional tease. I just can't. It's been too crazy and I can't put the finishing touches on it. And then I got to send it to Andrew Rich and he has to finish it off. But there is another one of those coming. It's pretty much done. And then you've got the Super Brawl tell-alls. You put one out today. We got a ton of content on there today. I don't know why we keep saying today. Half the people listen to this on like Sunday.
Exactly. Right. But anyway, this week has a bunch of stuff, a bunch of good stuff coming up. We have sort of said, and internally, Joe and I have kind of talked about it as well, with less like wrestling going on, there's a little bit more time. Like you said, we have more time to watch shit that we wouldn't normally watch. And I think we have more time to produce Patreon content as well. So expect whatever happens over the next few weeks, plenty of additional content coming your way on Patreon, because we suddenly have a lot of free time in our lives. So we don't have any other interests. As I've gotten older, I basically don't do anything but play video games, hang out with my wife, eat dinner, cook, clean, watch sports, watch wrestling, and do this. So now that sports is gone,
and most of the wrestling is gone.
It's like I only have like 3 other things to do. So when she's at work, I have nothing to do. So plenty of opportunities for more stuff too. So we're now's a great time to subscribe. Patreon.com/Voice of Wrestling. I promise you're going to get plenty of stuff coming up. Super Brawl Tell, I'm putting a bow on that this weekend as well. Also going to do I'm going to do a Squashing Buttons. Bring back that. Do a live playthrough of. Did you ever play the SNES Super Brawl game?
Yeah, it sucks.
It's fucking terrible. Yeah, so I played it. I already know it sucks, but I'll just bear it. It's a good cap off. It's a good way to kind of put a bow on the Super Brawl series, but it's fucking garbage. It's terrible. So
yeah.
But that's fun too. When I I don't want it to just be fine. You know, I want it to either be really, really good or utter shit. And that game is certainly does the utter shit pretty well. So
yeah,
plenty of stuff going on. So Joe's losing his voice. Joe's recorded like 7 podcasts today. He's apparently going to do one later today because he's a maniac. But anyway, thank you guys for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed this show. And like we said, do not worry. Shows will happen. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know what we're going to do. A lot of Big Japan, a lot of 0-1. The shows might not be 3 hours. We'll see what ends up happening. But we are going to give you shows throughout the rest of this, whatever happens here. Weeks, months, hopefully not years, weeks, months. We'll go with just weeks, months until then. But we will stick with us. We will be here. Also, patreon.com/Voice of Wrestling. The rest of the Voice of Wrestling podcast network, too. The Super J-Cast is literally just doing shows about nothing. And it's actually a hilarious thing as well. We're pushing through. We will give you guys stuff throughout this entire process. The website will have stuff. So voicewrestling.com will have stuff. Voices Wrestling, Voice Wrestling Podcast Network.
Joel had a baby.
He did. Oh yeah, Joel did have a baby. What a day. I think he'll always remember the date. Not only will you, of course, always remember the birthday of your daughter, but yeah, Joel, who one of the co-hosts of the Super J-Cast, had a daughter. So congratulations to him and his wife on his very healthy baby. Did you know that this guy, his wife and his baby have the same birthday?
I know.
Now, Joe, what do you? Because I'm like, I already in my head, I'm thinking, it's a gift for both of you guys.
That might be good.
Right. Like, no, I got it for all of us. It's,
Also, you can wrap even it's like you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone every year on one day, like one party, one day to worry about instead of worrying about 2 different days. That might be a good thing.
It might. Yeah. Because especially like especially her, like I don't know his wife, so I can't say for sure, but I'd imagine most people that have just had it, like they're going to want the party to be about the baby. You know what I mean? Like the baby's going to be the focal point. She's not going to say, no, it's my birthday, not the baby's. You know what I mean? Like she's not going to do that. She's going to say, oh yeah, we'll have our friends come over and it'll all, it'll be the baby and the baby will fuck around with a cake or whatever. And yeah, it's my birthday too, yada, 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 or whatever. So
here, you know what's going to happen here. I mean, let's be realistic. Her birthday is now a week later.
Right. Yeah, if she's smart, she'll say, no, Joel, that's her birthday, but this is my birthday next week. So
the kid gets the birthday on the actual day. Whatever the following weekend is, that's the wife's birthday.
You're taking me out. We're going for a nice dinner. Yeah,
Yep.
That's good stuff. But yeah, congratulations to him as well. So doing a podcast, releasing it, and then her
Yeah, like literally like an hour later, she went into labor and had the baby. But you got to put out the content, man. You got to put out the content.
That's when I said we're not taking time off. Joel is, while his wife is sitting there counting her contractions.
Yes.
Joel's doing a podcast about nothing because they're not even Super Jig. New Japan isn't running shows.
Right.
And this dope, who we love, is there while his wife's having contractions recording a podcast. That's what you get here, baby. This is the Voice of Wrestling Podcast Network. They had an ad this week, so they're not missing this goddamn week, all right?
We got ad buys. We're cracking the whip.
Right.
Wife's giving birth, don't care. Read the ad.
Right, read the Roman ad and then take her to the fucking hospital. It's all right. The baby's not going to come out. You got 5 minutes, to read the ad, and then the baby's going to, you
still that Roman. Say you use the Roman, and that's why you're having a baby.
Right, exactly. Play it in a little bit. So
work it in.
Yeah, we're here for you during these times. But anyway, for Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Craich. We'll see you guys next time on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast. Take care.